Sisters and brothers, comrades all, our speaker stage will begin in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to start. Thank you. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Stephanie Terrazas and Martha Huerta with our land acknowledgements.
Hello, coming at you from the San Gabriel Valley, East of LA. Please rise for the opening acknowledgements in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal land. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Winton peoples, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today. On these ancestral lands, by choosing to gather to get together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation from Sacramento's indigenous history, contributions, and lives. Thank you.
We also want to acknowledge all the women involved in various causes who have endured suffering in silence in the name of advancing the movement, despite their own personal trauma.
Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Dr. Melina Abdullah with Black Lives Matter with our opening keynote speech. Dr. Abdullah.
Salam alaikum, Eid Mubarak. Look, there's only 10 of us, okay? And I'm a Black woman. So I like people to talk back to me. Salam alaikum. And your response is wa alaikum salam. So I just said, peace be unto you, and you said, peace be unto you. Eid Mubarak. This is the holiest day for Muslims, and we are supposed to be in the midst of celebration. This is our highest day of celebration for Muslims. And so the fact that you have two committed Muslims, practicing Muslims, here means that we know what we're here for and the depth of what it means to be fighting for health care for everybody. On the holiest day, we are here to fight for health care for everybody. So I pray that I be guided in my words, and I'm speaking in many ways. I'm speaking as a Muslim woman. I'm speaking as an organizer with Black Lives Matter Grassroots and Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. I'm speaking as political action chair for the California Faculty Association, the largest labor union of college faculty in the nation, which is a proud supporter of CalCare. I'm also speaking as a mother and as a human being. And I asked Sheila, my comrade and sister, who's on the Healthcare for Us board, I asked Sheila to send me, well, what am I supposed to say? And she sent me like 4 points, and I was like, I know that. What's the angle? And Sheila, if I missed something, then rescue me, okay? There was no angle. There is no angle. Because this is so basic. This is so basic. It's so basic that my mama, who just turned 80, texted me while I was on my way up. And we all know, those of you who know me, Gina and Erica know, my mama always got stuff. She's wonderful. She's my best friend. She's the best human being I've ever met in my life. And I'm not saying that just because she's my mother. I'm saying that because that's who she is. Look, Erica, you're right. So I was bragging. I said, Mommy, I haven't cussed all Ramadan. And she said, but you said a-hole. That's still cussing. So this is who my mama is. The best person that I know and the best person that anybody who's ever met her knows, right? But my mother always has a tweak for something. My mother doesn't have a tweak for this. Her text this morning was, go up there and fight for health care for us. Go up there and fight for health care for us. There's no angle, because health care for all of us, not affordable health care, which sounds like the favorite new word. It's the word du jour is affordability. Not affordable. We don't want just affordable health care. We were born into this world as human beings. And there is something that comes with being a human being. As humans, I don't care what you do. I don't care how lazy you are. I don't care whether you have a job or don't have a job. You have a right. We all have a right to health care. And anyone who says any different, I would question their humanity. And so we are here doing what my mama says to do, but I would also submit now, here I am, and I'm putting on a different hat or a different hijab, that as also those who are practicing, who submit to the will of God, I call God Allah, whoever you call your God, or whoever you call spirit, or whoever or whatever you acknowledge as something beyond your biological being, whatever binds us together, whatever energies move, whatever moves in you when you meditate, that you are morally required to be a part of this fight. So I'll say this, and then I'll be quiet, and I'm going to step aside, and I'm going to say, Sheila, I'm going to put you on the spot. That in 2020, we talked about 2020 as being a moment when the world cracked wide open. A moment when the world cracked wide open. And it was. And the price was too high when you talk about the blood of Ahmaud Arbery, when you talk about the blood of Breonna Taylor, when you talk about the blood of George Floyd, the price was too high. When we talk about the blood of the people whose names you probably don't know, when we talk about Dejan Kazee and Fred Williams, right? And so many others, the more than 1,200 others who were killed as a result of police and white supremacist violence in 2020. The price was too high, but it was a moment when you couldn't look away. It was a moment when the world cracked wide open and we recognized Black Lives Matter grassroots. And if you're following the fake Black Lives Matter, please unfollow them and follow BLM grassroots. Do that right now. You got your phone out. BLM grassroots, follow BLM grassroots. That we said we're going to run through this portal and get as much justice as we can. And maybe we could have gathered a little more justice. But that's a lesson for 2025. I will submit to you that this is also a moment when the world is cracked wide open. Maybe not in the same way. But when you think about what the fascists are trying to do, and fascism is already here in the words of George Jackson. He said it in 1970. Maybe he was a little early, but fascism is already here. This is an absolutely undisputable fascist regime. But you don't fight fascism with liberalism. Liberalism is just putting a softer face on fascism. Affordability is not what we want. Not just affordability, because we shouldn't have to pay for basic human rights. Everyone is entitled. So Naomi Klein talks about disaster capitalism and how fascists and capitalists use these moments of disaster to get more for them. But I'll say that there's also something called disaster revolutionaryism. Let's call it that. Where we can use this moment of disaster to say, what is it that we really want? What we really want is health care for everyone. What we really demand is cow care. And we're going to go hard on it. So I'm going to be real clear that this is a moment, one of the 99 names of Allah. And I know most of you are not Muslim, but you should know that my faith requires that we fight for justice. Justice is one of the 99 names of Allah. So on this Eid, we believe that all of us are required to seek justice, to do the work of justice. And part of that means holding those who stand against justice accountable. So anyone who won't sign on to cow care, know that we are coming for you. We are coming for you. Don't ask for our vote. Don't ask for our endorsement. Don't ask for our participation in your whack political party. Don't ask for our dollar if you're not going to invest those dollars in cow care, health care for all, and all of the things, because it's not just healthcare. We starting with it, but we going for more. So we want to be clear. We want housing for everybody. We want quality higher education for everybody. We want no more war. We want the money back. If you taking $1 from the Israeli lobby, we coming for you. We are demanding in this moment that you stand on the side of right, or there will be political consequences to pay. And that's what I have to offer with the note that didn't give me no guidance. But Sheila got me. Sheila got me.
Lift it up. Dr. Abdullah.
Melina hit all the talking points. I think it's incredibly important to also remember, right? Melina was talking about how in 2020 that around the uprisings that occurred, right? One of the things that came out of the uprising was the California Reparations Task Force. And the California Reparations Task Force indicated that one way that California can move towards repairing harm is to pass a single payer health care bill. And that's now, right? And we also know that Newsom is running out here and is trolling Trump, right? And if you want to troll Trump, the best way to troll Trump is when he's trying to cut Medicare. You make sure that California everybody gets Medicare and Medi-Cal in the state of California, right? That's how you troll Trump. Troll Trump with action, not words. You can be a little Twitter troll if you want to, but what we need you to do is make sure that you're doing the work of the people and making sure that we all get CalCare, we all get healthcare. And we know that when California does it, that paves the way for the rest of the country getting it.
Lift it up, Sheila Bates, Dr. Abdullah. Sisters and brothers, please take out your cell phones. We have a moment of digital pressure campaign action for you. Please welcome to the stage, Kasten Byrne, with a little digital action for you.
All right, you guys. So the digital campaign. You see my uncle over there? Waving. Yep. So here's what you guys are gonna do. If you guys want to take pictures, we do have a little CalCare booth right there where we can take pictures and do a little photo op. And you can also, before you do that, step one is to sign your name, your Instagram handle, and the organization that you're involved with, just so that we can tag and post on Instagram and tag you guys as well. So, and then you got two options. There's already like 5 to 6 boards that are already created, but if you want to create your own board, where you guys can write hashtag we want CalCare now, hashtag AB1900 now, or even fight with CUSP, spread the word, something like that. Then you guys are more than welcome to. We're going to take the picture, we're going to put it in a hard drive and send it to the CUSP and make sure that we tag you guys. So yeah, that's how our digital campaign works. That's something that you probably have to ask Mark. Huh? Yeah, it's CUSP HQ, CUSP _HQ, is that correct? No? Our CUSP HQ on Instagram for sure. You guys can tag us as well. Or all of them, all social media platforms. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah.
All right, thank you, Kasten. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Emily Brandt. She's going to tell you a little bit about Medicare disadvantage. Emily Brandt, sisters and brothers.
Good afternoon. I am so excited to be able to talk to you today. You know my name. I'm here representing 6,200 retirees. Let's hear it for retirees, please. Yay! Excellent. all of whom were forced by our employer onto Medicare Advantage. You know, the commercial managed care product that is not a lifetime benefit because it can come and go if it's not making enough money in your area. They really thought they could fool us into believing that MA was a lifetime benefit. What's the best health care in America? I ask you, what is it called? Medicare. Medicare, that's all we've got. But we will have Medicare Advantage for all. Medicare for all. Good heavens. Save me, Lord, please. The real benefit, lifetime benefit, not just for 65 and older, but for all. Don't be fooled. Medicare Advantage steals your original Medicare and gives you back a big fat disadvantage. The instability and annual provider agreements and shifting networks. Let me ask you seriously, how are you today health-wise? Okay. No, I mean, really, is your health all right now? I hope it's really good and that in 20, 30 years and more, it will still be as good or even better than it is now. Why? Because, as I said, I'm here to expose Medicare Advantage for what it really is, a for-profit scam that makes 15% profit for shareholders off the back of untreated, unhealthy people. We took lower salaries and wages for 46 years as teachers, educators, special education aides, library tech workers, cafeteria workers to give lifetime health benefits. Taking them away now is a huge financial loss for all of us, especially the lowest wage earner. Because if we're sick, and we are, we need health care. AB 1900 will end this nightmare and provide all Californians with original Medicare plus a supplemental card that covers everything original Medicare doesn't, including optical and dental. That's all of us, not just retirees. Too many people are suffering unnecessary pre-authorization, endless denial, language that you younger employees don't even hear yet, and a string of appeals while they lie struggling with worsening conditions that sometimes even lead to premature death. This is not health care. This is care only for the healthy. It was all good for us on original Medicare until 2023, when, surprise, surprise, the Medicare Advantage Aetna consultant convinced our district they could save money by hiring our healthcare out to a private company. This was all done over 2 years of secret meetings. They drank the Kool-Aid with enthusiasm and forced us all from our original Medicare plus district self-funded supplemental plan onto a Medicare Advantage Aetna plan. This new plan is wonderful if you're healthy, but we need health care because we're not all healthy, especially as we age. I wish I could share with you very personal stories of those who died because of those failed pre-authorization, denials, and rejected appeals. The mortality rate is 9 to 11% higher among those with complex cancer or other complex health conditions on MA plans. Tell me honestly, do we know we will always be healthy even when we live healthy lives? No. I didn't know I would be diagnosed 4 years ago with a very rare non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that is incurable, but I'm only one of 6,200 retirees. How many of our older retirees are under conservatorship and advocated for by family members because of their severe cognitive decline and weren't even notified that their health care had been changed? Providers are dropping MA plans during annual negotiations on new agreements because they don't reimburse for care in a timely way. And MA doesn't pay enough in the Central Valley. In the Central Valley, community health systems is the single #1 trauma and burn center with a UCSF residence program for specialized care. And so when MA Aetna couldn't reach an agreement in time in 2025, all retirees were dropped out of network. Aetna canceled our appointments, treatments, and surgery. Then they required transition of care forms filled by hundreds of us with our cancer and other critical health specialists affiliated with the residency program. Imagine what that is like when you're in the midst of chemo or need surgery or a lung transplant. You're dropped. We patients suffered for several months in chaos until they did finally sort it out. This time. Is this not elder abuse? Is this not a violation of the contract clause? Look it up. Article 1, Section 9, California State Constitution. Don't let your public employer or district do this to you. If you, like they did in New York City employees did to us. Join us by committing yourself to this goal, and by demanding your legislators sponsor a vote for AB 1900 CalCare, or you won't be voting for them. You'll be saving the lives of Californians. Thank you for your attention and support.
Lift it up for Emily Brandt. Emily Brandt, thank you, Emily. All right, sisters and brothers, please lift it up for Oliver Ma. Oliver Ma, Canada Oliver Ma.
Good afternoon. Hello. Are we ready to fight for healthcare today? Amazing. So I'll let you guys in on some personal parts about myself. So I was born in Beijing. I'm an immigrant, I'm a civil rights lawyer, and I'm a candidate for California Lieutenant Governor. When I was born 30 years ago, the life expectancy in China was 8 years shorter than the life expectancy for Americans. And if you had gone to my parents then and you said, today that would be different, they wouldn't believe you. But today, the life expectancy for the average Chinese person is longer than the life expectancy of the average American. And in fact, our life expectancy here in the US has been steady or declining since 2019. Do we think that's cool? No, we don't. No, we don't. The reason that is the case is because we have a healthcare system that is designed for the profits of these corporations instead of the health of our families. We have a healthcare system that can charge you whatever they want in premiums when you're not sick. And then when you do need their help, when you need their support, they're going to deny you care. Boom. We have a healthcare system where my grandma has to pay $100 for insulin here when it's only $10 in Mexico and Canada. And we have a healthcare system that would rather see our community members get sick and more sick than do their basic job, which is to provide care for our families. I think that's messed up. And we need to build a healthcare system as proposed by the California Nurses Association, CalCare, that will make healthcare universal, that will make it free and available to every community here in California. because healthcare is a human right, and there are so many things that are human rights, and things that are human rights should not only be provided because a corporation can profit from exploiting people to provide it. So we need to fight for affordable healthcare, and we also need to fight for affordable housing, for education, and for every single thing that our family needs, our working families and our state needs to prosper. And we need to overthrow the Epstein class. We need to overthrow the corrupt corporations, and we need to overthrow their political puppets. Once again, I'm Oliver Ma. I'm running for California Lieutenant Governor to make healthcare free, to make housing cheap, to keep immigrant families safe, and to divest California from the genocide and apartheid in Palestine. Thank you for being here. I look forward to meeting you, and I hope to earn your support. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Ma. Okay, sisters and brothers, in just a moment, we are going to have the musical stylings of Tommy from Smiley Tea and the Tall Trees. In the meantime, if you would please patronize the Game Day food truck that's parked right there. They're only going to be here a little while longer. They were very generous with their time to come and stop. If you need a Pepsi, if you need a soda, if you need some fries, if you need a burger, they've got a whole nice menu. Please check out the Game Day food truck. They're helping us out today, so thank you so much. And in just a minute, we'll have Smiley Tea up on the stage for you.
Some of the work gets kind of hard. This ain't no place to be, ain't no being stopped. Let me tell you, it's always cool. And the boss don't mind sometimes if you're at the car. Come on, y'all, sing it for me. Well, those calls never bring the spot. I mean, keep those like the machine coming. I have been your supervisor. Let me know when you want me to.
Check, check, check.
Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Smiley T of Smiley T and the Tall Tree.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Yeah. Thanks for coming out. I know a lot of y'all came a long way. I know I drove about 350 miles to be here. And it's an important cause. We're braving the heat on a Friday when there's not even legislators in the building, because apparently they don't work on Fridays like the rest of us. You try to be clever, you try to be better, but you would never to turn your dreams into tangible things. Wish I could pull the lever whenever, whatever the weather, and reconcile things conflicting within my being. Wanna eat right, be tight, I wanna shine bright, be light on my feet and get my mind right. Delight in details, this nigga's all night shit right. I'm off a vessel right in the starlight. But this pain in my chest keeps me tripping over brain and no rest. Steady slipping while the strains progress. Levels slipping in my brain from the stress. I'm impressed by the fact that you know what to do. While other times feeling blue, bruised, days to confuse the simple facts that you got to move and push through. You gotta get up and do the things that you gotta do, because I got things to do. I got things to do. We got things to do. Yeah. So many things to do. I got things to do. I got things to do. I got things to do. Yeah. So many mother loving things to do. Reduce your activation energy. Cause entropy insidious and menacing. What should it be? The destruction of perceived routine. Let's see you see the power of your mind. Find it can set you free. It's a fact thing. Go ahead and imagine that you can make it happen. Clarity, no gap in prosperity. Antithetical to drag ass. The paralysis of analysis got start acting. You want success, but how do you define? Is it peace of mind? Lack of stress, a partner divine. To be a globe trotter, have your own daughter. Grow stronger, have your chest grow broader. Rest hot sun, cold water. Discipline and passion, they make it happen. The presence of present, keep gratitude everlasting. Bury your passion, dream with bound dashing. Never slow down, y'all keep acting, keep grasping. Cause I got things to do. I got things to do. I got things to do. Yeah. So many mother loving things to do. I got things to do. I got things to do. I got things to do. Yeah. So many mother loving things to do. Yeah. Right, yeah, that's some things to do. So glad to see the youth here at the state capitol. That's amazing. Yeah, I hope y'all get inspired by what you see in there today. Yeah, you're the future. And this is what we're here for, right? This is why we're doing this. Not just for ourselves, but for the future generations. Because healthcare is a right. And the richest country in the world, that shouldn't be a question. Seemed like the violin was cutting out a little bit. Scott, we good? Feeling good? Okay, all right. Next one. Ooh, that slowed down. Somehow that slowed down, Scott. What you get? DJs sometimes. They're messing with the BPMs. Yeah, my name's Tommy. AKA Smiley T in the tall trees. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, there we go. That's the tempo. That's what we want. So normally I got a full band with me. They couldn't make it today, but I'm happy to be here. Gotta get a haircut real soon. Interview, gotta look good for this Zoom meeting. Life is bleeding, but I keep believing. Propaganda, internalized self-defeating. With needing this and needing that. Subscribe to these beliefs that it's just holding you back. This shit is whack. Just wanna grab and fight back and get the system a smack. Now what you think about that? I said, tear it down and build something beautiful, something immutable, something indisputable, suitable for the pure of heart. Life is art, mind over matter, the existence is beautiful. There's so much more to life that was led to believe. War and peace, false freebies and broken treaties, leaves blowing in the breeze as they fall from the trees. Permanent and permanent, which you know what bad things. Purity of heart, purity of mind. Get the clarity of vision in no time, so you can go find the gold mine of living. The children that are right this whole time. Love, laughter, and sunshine. So sublime for losing the past. We can be forgiven. What is this? What is that? Who are we meant to be like Moses? Can we set the people free? Part the Red Sea, watch for treachery, entropy. Seek the middle path is heavenly. Y'all know it's where we're meant to be. Tell that greed to pipe down. Avarice in flight now. Crystal clear vision for living with wisdom and sight. How can we find the light? We try to fight. You gotta fight the fight with dynamite. I said, light it up and burn this motherfucker down to the ground. Cacophony resound, kick us down, carry key lessons profound, circus catalyst to the crowd as it echoes around. Tear off the shroud, strip away the fakeness, burn away the pride, even only greatness shines from your inner mind, luminous and weightless. Can't dissuade us, no one can contain it. Purity of heart and purity of mind. Get the clarity of vision in no time, so you can go find the gold mine of living. The children that are right this whole time. Love, laughter, and sunshine. So sublime for losing the past. It can be forgiven. Purity of heart and purity of mind. Get to clarity of vision in no time, so you can go find to go mine. Living the children that are right this whole time. Love, laughter, and sunshine, so sublime. For losing the past, we can be forgiven. All right. So I got one more piece for y'all before we have some more speakers coming up here. Again, my name's Tommy Letchworth, aka Smiley T and the Tall Trees. This next piece is going to be the reason I actually got invited here. So I don't have a backing track for this one, so I'm going to do it as spoken word, which is something that you're not going to be able to hear anywhere else but here. So glad y'all are here to share it with me. This song, aka piece, is called Single Payer. It's about the importance of having a single payer healthcare system. I grew up in San Francisco, California. My dad was a member of the California Nurses Association for like 40 years. And my whole life, I heard about the horrors of the medical system, medical bankruptcy, people having to choose between selling their house or paying for care that may or may not even save their lives. So, yeah, getting that here sounds like a no-brainer. And I think that one of the controversial things that the legislators don't like talking about is revenue, increasing revenue. That's a dirty word here, apparently. But the reality is that if we cut out the private insurance companies and we take the profit motive out of it, then we can afford it. And we'll actually save $400 billion a year as a nation doing it. So that being said, y'all know I like it. Yeah. Shoot, I love it too. Yeah. Single payer healthcare is coming through. I said I like it. Actually, I love it too. Yeah. Because we're all covered. Yes, me and you. So let's take a second and let's think critically. Healthcare. Y'all, this should be free. We're talking about services essential. The care you need, whether it's mental or dental. We all get sick, but only a few at a time. So when we all chip in, we know we'll all be fine. It's called Pareto's principle. It's the law of 80-20. It's like we're invincible because we know that they're ready to take us in, to get us some help. Yeah, whatever you need. And don't worry about the cost because we know you got mouths to feed. You got cysts, acne, dermatitis, maybe issues with your joints like osteoarthritis. Maybe you got diabetes or heart disease, issues with your back or problems with your knees. Maybe you got Alzheimer's. Maybe you got cancer. Issues with addiction, you'll still get the same answer. What? No. People don't go bankrupt from medical bills in this country anymore. No, we take care of you, and then we send you on your way. Man, you know that I like it. I love it, too. Single payer health care is coming through. I said I like it. Nah, I love it, too. Because we're all covered. Yes, me and you. Over $400 billion a year saved. Man, that feels pretty good. And I stand here amazed, all of it coming from administrative waste. It's a good life, people, that we all get to take. It's amazing. Now we can focus on prevention rather than waiting to the very last second. We're elevated. Yeah, it's a national ascension. Got hypertension? Go get some medical attention for free. Or darn close to it. They didn't want to do it because they know that we prove that it works. Yes, it does. It's all factual. Actual data is real as a broken clavicle. Maternity, primary, reproductive, or hospital, whatever you need, will overcome any obstacle. And you might ask, is it real? Is it legit? Hell yeah, y'all. Single payer is the shit. I like it. Man, I love it too. Single payer healthcare is coming through. I said I like it. I love it too. Because we're all covered. Yeah, me and you. Ooh, I like it. Hey, thank you very much. I'll be up again later today.
Lift it up. Lift it up for Smiley T. Smiley T. While we get the stage set for our next speaker, again, please consider patronizing the Game Day food truck, who's donating their time today to make sure they're here to feed us. Please make sure that you stop by the Game Day food truck. Thank you so much. We'll have our next speaker up in just
Check 1, 2.
Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Elizabeth Robledo with the San Joaquin Valley Democratic Club in the home.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As an educator in Fresno, it does not escape notice that we stand at the forefront of our community, witnessing firsthand the devastating impact of our current for-profit healthcare system. We have seen members, dedicated individuals who have served our community for a lifetime, struggle to receive their benefits under our current broken system. It is time to speak up, to share our personal experiences, and to demand change. I have felt the pain of this broken system in my own life. My father, a retired Marine and small business owner, sacrificed his own health by rationing his medication to save money for our family's needs. He suffered in silence until it was too late. His sacrifice cost us his life, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. I lost not only my hero and best friend, but my mother lost her partner in this life. I have also witnessed the anguish of dear colleagues who were denied health-saving care. Their voice is silenced by a system that values profit over people. These are individuals who are dedicated their lives to serving our community only to be turned away when they needed help the most. This is not just a story of individuals. It is a reflection of systemic failures that plague our healthcare system. Our current for-profit system of healthcare deceives the public, manipulates consumers, and prioritizes the interests of corporations over the well-being of people. It is time to expose these practices and demand accountability. We cannot stand by as union members, and communities suffer at the hands of greed and indifference. Let our voices be heard and let our stories be told. Let us stand together and demand in solidarity and demand a future where healthcare is a right and not a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Elizabeth Robledo with the San Joaquin Valley Democratic Club. Sisters and brothers, please put your hands together for Margaret Nunes with the Jewish and Allied Educators for Palestine in the home.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Hi. How are y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. But you know, you can't just hope for things, right? Hope requires action. And I want you to help me with this. When I say hope requires, you come back with action. Okay, got it? Hope requires action. No. When I was invited to a formal dinner a while back, I told him, oh my God, I hope my evening gown fits. I had to take action to make that happen, and it worked. Hope required action. I learned that from Jane Goodall. She wrote a whole book about it. Also learned she liked a good whiskey. Don't worry, there was no drinking with the chimp. My name is Margaret Nunes. She, her pronouns. I'm a public school teacher and proud union member down in the Bay Area where I teach continuation school. I'm also the Coalition Building Committee Chair for CUSP. I'm a member of California Teachers Association, CTA, and I'm representing teachers and unions, but I'm specifically up here with the CTA Jewish and Allied Educators for Palestine Caucus, JAEP, and CalSTRS Divest, as in divest our public pension from terrible things like fossil fuel, genocide in Gaza, military-industrial complex. So if you're interested in either of those groups, find us over at booth 3 and 4 over there. They're waving. If you hope to end wars, hope that we can all live in peace, hope that teachers can retire with a conscience, you have to head on over because you know it. Hope requires single-payer health care is about taking care of everyone, and we all need each other. You know it's true. JAEP supports educators in creating an inclusive curriculum. We advocate for and support teachers who are standing up to teach the truth, to lift all voices, specifically those who have purposefully been left out of our curriculum. We're committed to countering human rights violations in our classrooms, in our communities, and in the world. We stand together with those advocating for single payer because access to health care is a human right. CalSTRS Divest is building grassroots power to pressure CalSTRS to adhere to their existing ethical investment policy framework. They are perpetuating a humanitarian crisis. Military siege on Gaza contributes to human rights violations in Palestine. We as educators, as members of JAEP and CalSTRS Divest and other organizations, we're committed to freedom, justice, and equality for children around the world. And that includes human rights here at home. We are all human rights activists, and we continue to struggle for access to quality health care for the betterment of humanity. Visit both booths over there. So we have to get over the fear. That fear of change, even if it's change for the better. Those who hope for benefits with their job and then lose them, accept lower quality health, and hope they have some kind of care. Hope they have enough money to pay for the health care needs when they lose their benefits. Maybe even hope that a bill will pass to make things better. I talked with a neighbor about this. She was hesitant to advocate for change because she feared things would get all messed up and become a bunch of muck. But now people who know me know I never swear. But what the muck? The whole system is mucked up as it is. And just hoping won't make it better. You know that. Hope requires. When I first got married, my husband and I looked at our health benefit package for the 2 different school districts we worked for. His benefits were way better. So we added my name to his coverage, and we enjoyed high quality health care. A lot of stuff was going on. We were newlyweds. We decided to remodel a home that I inherited. The contractor wrecked the house, took most of our stuff. We were struggling with a lawsuit. We were unhoused, but we had each other, you know, and we were looking forward to having our first baby. I was down in Disneyland with our school cheerleaders at a national competition. That was so me. I was the cheer coach. My husband was the football coach. There was a phone message on the room phone, and I went down to the bank of payphones. Yeah, that was a thing one day. To return the call, I was surrounded by ecstatic cheerleaders calling home to share the news that they won. I dialed the number and was told my husband had a heart attack. He died. He was 35. I remember walking back to my hotel room and looking in the bathroom mirror thinking, I'm a widow and I'm 5 months pregnant. Then the room phone rang again. It was my principal. She told me how sorry she was. And then she told me that since I was on my husband's health insurance, I just lost all my coverage. I lost my house. I lost my husband. I lost my health insurance. This happened 29 years ago today, March 20th, the first day of spring. Now that's mucked up. That's an example of our healthcare system, and that's why we're united to change that. We cannot hope that we'll be okay.
Hope things will be better. Hope that AB 1900 will pass. We have to do more because hope requires action. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Lift it up for Margaret. Sisters and brothers, lift it up for Dan Fonzie. He's a math teacher from Berkeley Federation of Teachers. Going to talk about healthcare.
Hello, so I'm the third teacher in a row here to talk to you, and I don't think that's a coincidence. My name is Dan Plonzi. I taught math at Berkeley High for 19 years. I'm now subbing in the district for math teachers. Still with BFT. We belong to the other big state union, CFT. CTA has already been mentioned. I want to talk to you about how lack of decent healthcare has affected my students, and therefore why passage of AB 1900 is so urgent. But first, as a math teacher, I have to give you some numbers. All right, these are from the City of Berkeley Health Status Summary Report. Liberal Berkeley. All right. African Americans in Berkeley are 2.3 times as likely to die than whites in any given year of life. In other words, a black student is much more likely to lose a parent, grandparent, or caregiver. When you teach 150 kids a year, as we typically do, you'll have several kids who will lose an adult who is crucial to their well-being. Also, health inequities among racial and ethnic groups are striking. To address health disparities requires that we address the underlying social, economic, and environmental inequities that perpetuate them. CalCare would address many of these inequities. Socioeconomic status is one of the most powerful predictors of disease, injury, and mortality. And in Berkeley, for every dollar a white household earns, a black household earns 28 cents. That is inequality. Inequality in healthcare, inequality in health outcomes, and therefore inequality in educational outcomes. In fact, according to a study by Stanford's Sean Reardon, black students on average are 5 years behind white students when they graduate from Berkeley High. But what does the lack of quality healthcare look like firsthand in an actual classroom? Here are 4 stories from one class in my last year of teaching. Michael lost his grandfather, still a young man who had functioned as his father. Michael's behavior became erratic. A model student 1 minute, off task the next. He began to miss many classes and barely passed. He'd been one of our strongest students before. James was often kept at home to care for his grandmother, who was in and out of the hospital. He missed 2/3 of the year, so despite his strong interest in math and good classwork when present, he scored 10% on the final and had to repeat the class. Kylie had anxiety and depression. She's still not in therapy. She came to class crying on several occasions and couldn't say what was wrong. Maya had a strong interest in engineering. She did well, but needed extra time on tests. I gave her the time because it was clear that she had some learning differences, undiagnosed, because her family couldn't afford to send her to a specialist. Unlike all the upper middle class white kids, almost exclusively white in Berkeley, who can get a diagnosis which leads to a 504 plan, which guarantees them extra time on tests. In fact, the inequality at Berkeley High is so bad that they had to hire an administrator just to try to keep a lid on these 504 plans and not exacerbate inequality even further. It happens in every class. Lack of quality health care for kids and their families has a huge impact, not just directly on the mental and physical health of the kids, but on missed opportunities for learning and success. Every year, we have multiple students whose promising academic life we see utterly derailed. We educators are mandated reporters, which means that we legally must report any abuse we become aware of. Child abuse is defined to include neglect of a child's basic needs. California is neglecting the well-being of millions of children. That is child abuse. Those of us in schools see the results of this abuse by neglect firsthand, so we have an obligation to speak up. A financial reason why healthcare is so necessary for schools. The rapidly rising cost of healthcare, whether paid by the district or by teachers, is draining money from education. In Berkeley, the district currently pays 56% of our healthcare. For Kaiser, the cost of the remaining amount can still be 20% of a young teacher's salary. As you probably know, most of the largest districts in California are running massive deficits. Sacramento, LA, Oakland, West Contra Costa, even Berkeley. There will be layoffs. You may also know that there's a financial crisis in special education in particular. My relatively wealthy district is unable to provide math tutoring for kids who are years behind. So for both the well-being of children and for financial reasons, my union BFT has passed a resolution endorsing CalCare. But now we need more. We need the unions to send busloads of teachers and nurses and workers up to Sacramento to demand CalCare. This is the year. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan Ponte. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the mic Brian Tabatabai with the San Gabriel Valley Progressives. Oh. How's everyone doing? You know what? I want y'all to give yourselves a round of applause for coming out to the Capitol on a Friday, fighting for the health care of every Californian. So let me hear you. So, my name is Brian Calderon Tabatabai. I am representing the San Gabriel Valley Progressive. I am also a public school teacher in the city of El Monte. My wife is a public school teacher in LAUSD. And on Tuesday, LAUSD reported that on April 14th, 37,000 teachers will be going on strike. And the reason why 37,000 teachers will be going on strike is because with a $5 billion reserve, LAUSD wants to cap our healthcare benefits, wants to take healthcare away from teachers, wants to take healthcare away from teachers' aides, cafeteria workers, janitors. And what do we say to that? Hell no! Hell no! Because this is the reality. As a teacher, as a coach, I've had to make decisions. I've had football players break their legs during summer practice, and instead of calling 911, we had to call the parents. We had to ask them, hey, can we call an ambulance for you? Or do we need to take your child in our car and drive them to who knows where? Because I know I can't take them to that emergency room. I know you can't afford that bill. In the wealthiest state, in the wealthiest country in the world, I have to put a child with a broken leg in the back of my Honda Accord, and I have to figure a way how they're going to get that splinted. How are they going to get that casted? We're going to have to start a GoFundMe to make sure that that child can get health care. And so that family can pay the rent, because we know the rent's too damn high. We know that health insurance is too damn high. And we know that too many of us are one accident away from being on that street. And so that's why we're here. We're here not just for us, we're here for the thousands of Californians who are living without health care. And so, again, to the state legislature that has year after year passed the buck, we say no more. It's time. Pass CalCare now. Pass CalCare now. And I want to end with three things. End the genocide in Palestine. Stop the war in Iran. and always fuck ice. All right, that was Brian Sabatabai. Bring the choir. All right, sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Lee Seagrave with PNHP Santa Barbara. PNHP Santa Barbara. We've got help with that mic. We got help coming.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lee Seagrave, and I'm a registered nurse, as well as a member of Physicians for a National Health Program, PNHP. You can visit us over there at Booth 4. PNHP was founded 40 years ago in 1986 and has been at the forefront of public health research and single-payer education for decades. Our organization empowers physicians, residents, and health professionals like myself to speak out in favor of a more just healthcare system for everyone, regardless of their color or socioeconomic background. The public needs to know that doctors support single payer. PNHP's mission statement says the following: Physicians for National Health Program advocate for universal, comprehensive, single-payer national health insurance and collaborates with others to fight racism and advance social justice. PNHP believes that high-quality healthcare is a right of all people and should be provided equitably as a public service rather than bought and sold as a commodity. In the views of PNHP, the only way to achieve equitable access to healthcare for all is to remove financial and other barriers to care currently faced by the uninsured, minority populations, documented and undocumented immigrants, and poor and working people of all backgrounds. But PNHP also recognizes that colorblind healthcare financing scheme alone will not fully address structural racism in medical care. We therefore advocate for large-scale investments in hospitals and clinics in underserved communities and a sharp and immediate increase in training in minority forms of medical reparation. As a registered nurse, I have been advocating for patients my entire nursing career. I have worked in hospitals, clinics, and home care settings. I have also been a nurse activist for many years. California Nurses Association was the author, sponsor, and driving force behind a bill known as AB 394, which was a safe staffing bill that set nurse-patient ratios in hospitals throughout the state of California. The bill was signed into law in 1999 by then-Governor Gray Davis, which made California the first state in the country to pass such a law. This was a huge milestone for nurses and patients. I'm proud to say that I was part of this fight to make hospitals safer for patients. But as you know, patients are still in danger. Now we have a bigger battle. The insurance companies put profits over patients every single day. They don't care if people die or become sicker as long as they continue to get richer. I know they don't care because I have witnessed their denial of treatment for my patients who receive home intravenous therapies to treat autoimmune diseases, genetic disorders, as well as many other diseases. Doctors spend too much time writing appeal letters to insurance companies. Healthcare is not a privilege, it's a human right. The notion that healthcare is a human right is not a new concept. On March 25th, 1966, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was in Chicago, where he was attending the second convention of the Medical Committee of Human Rights. Reverend King put healthcare at the top of his list of shocking injustices. He stated,
of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and inhuman. 5 days from today will mark 60 years from when Dr. King made this statement, and we are in worse shape than ever when it comes to having adequate, affordable health care for everyone. We must unite and fight for what is right for everyone. Health care should not be reserved for the rich or withheld at a whim of greedy insurance companies. We should not lose our health care when we lose our jobs. We should not go in debt, destroy our credit, go bankrupt, or lose our homes because we became ill. And most of all, we should not profit from sick people while fat cats at big insurance companies make millions of dollars in salaries and bonuses. So everybody in, nobody out. Let's make our voices heard. So together we must fight to pass single-payer health care for everybody living in California.
Thank you, Lee Seagrave. Lift it up. All right, sisters and brothers, would you please welcome to the mic Chris Bennett. He is a candidate for U.S. Congress running against Ami Bera, a pediatrician who opposes single-payer health care. Come on now, Chris, tell us what you have to say.
Okay, can you hear me okay? All right, how's everyone doing today? Oh, I guess I took the thing off. So my name is Chris Bennett, and I'm a People First Corporate Free Progressive running to represent the 3rd District of California, which covers Southeast Sacramento, eastern suburbs, all the way up through Nevada County, East Kentucky, and South Lake Tahoe. So it's a lot of driving. It's a good thing that I drive a Prius. I got radicalized by Bernie Sanders in 2015. Who else here got radicalized by Bernie Sanders? Yeah. So a lot of the things that he said made a lot of sense to me. We have the most expensive healthcare system in the entire world with the worst health outcomes of any developed country. But it feels like no matter what happens, we're always paying more. We're paying more, we're getting worse services, and we've seen the problem because when Luigi Mangione did what he did, people were not that upset. So we need to fight for a single-payer universal healthcare system. That is the just approach because healthcare is a human right. Now, I'm going up against a, like you mentioned, corporate APAC incumbent named Ami Bera. He's a pediatrician. He's a pediatrician who's taken more than $1 million from the Israel lobby to continue starving and killing children. He does nothing. That is correct. He also is against single payer because he takes health insurance and big pharma money. So we got to get him out of office, period. Now, I obviously am running for the U.S. House of Representatives, so I support Medicare for all, but I believe that we in California need CalCare in the meantime. So that's why I support CalCare, even though I won't have the ability to vote on it directly, except, at the ballot box. So I appreciate all of you for being here. I think that we need more people out here. We need to get more people involved and engaged to understand what exactly we are losing by not having a single payer system. And the fact that so many people are spending ridiculous amounts of money on healthcare following the big, beautiful bill. I've met multiple people who are spending $2,000 a month for 2 people on health insurance. I met a woman in South Lake Tahoe with 2 small children. She and her husband are paying more than $5,000 a month just for health insurance. So we're getting squeezed on all angles. And now we've gone to war in Iran, in an unjust war, and they're blowing up oil fields, and now we're paying $6 a gallon. So we got to end the wars. We got to end the genocide. We got to pass universal health care. CalCare first, Medicare second. And we need to get corporate money out of politics. So once again, I'm Chris Bennett. I'm fighting for all of you, and I want to make sure that we prioritize people's basic needs and tax billionaires out of existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Sisters and brothers, please take out your cell phones. We have another digital moment here. We've got Kate and Fern to take you through our digital pressure campaign. Once again, for those of you that weren't here, go ahead, Kason.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kason Byrne. I am the Vice President of Feel the Burn SFB and part of the coalition with CUSP. We're also an affiliate of Our Revolution. I want to take a quick moment to invite you to something simple, but really powerful. Right over here, where my uncle is, waving. We're creating a people-powered digital action. It's a space where anyone can step up, write their message, and be a part of this movement in a real and visible way. All you have to do is grab a poster board, write something that matters to you, your story, your frustration, your hope, or why healthcare for all matters in your life. And we'll take a photo of you holding it. That photo gets shared on our social media, so your voice doesn't just stay here. It reaches people across the state and beyond. And I want to say this, especially for anyone who feels like the system is too rotten, too powerful, or that you don't have enough time to get involved. This is how we change that. Movements aren't built by a few people doing everything. They're built by a lot of people, each doing something small. So if you ever thought nothing's going to change, or I don't have time, then start here. Take a few minutes, share your voice, be a part of this. We'll be right over here all day. Come find us right over there. Make your sign, and let's build something together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kason. We're going to get set up with another performance with Smiley T in just a moment. In the meantime, please take a moment to visit the amazing booths that are set up. We've got a bunch of incredible organizations. Take the time to see what do they have to say. Get on their list. Find out all the amazing opportunities that are available to get involved. Thank you so much. We'll be back in just a few moments with another performance by Smiley T.
All right, hey, can we get a big round of applause for all our speakers so far? Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see folks coming from all over the state for something they care about. And it's pretty astounding to me how fringe this appears to be sometimes, right? Like, can we just have healthcare? Right? It doesn't seem that hard. So for those of y'all that are able, I know that it's hot, and it's a long day, but I'd like to invite y'all to come up, come closer, because be a community with one another, because that's what this is about. We're here. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, appreciate that. We're here to support one another and invigorate one another, because it can be a lonely fight sometimes. But, for those who don't know, there's a thing called love. And though many might not show anything with a mean mug, I'm here to tell you there's nothing quite like the power of love. It's tantamount to the divine falling like rain from above. It's clear. Love or fear, the two positions of choice. The totality of history lends credence to my voice. So come with me and set your mind free. Let us rejoice. To the gates of hell, love standing, I'll continue to hoist. You see, reality is simply a matter of perspective. And though for many fear is the prime directive, they're simply confusing power with force. A sour recourse submitted to a toxic Trojan horse. However, remember, you can refuse to fight. Let your heart guide you through the darkest of nights. Banish the shadow simply by bringing the light. Topple the mightiest of foes with a simple insight, a thing called love. Now, this duality is challenging the people of mind, but I bid you patience, my friends. In good time, we will find at the end it's just the beginning. So watch and observe, heed my words, look around you as the world turns. Take your attention from your 2 eyes up to your third. With this perspective, you too can be assured that day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, your actions come from one of two places. I mean it. One's called love. The other's called fear. One's called hatred. The other is called holding people dear. The thing about love is that love is compounding, bounding, profound, man. This shit is astounding. For those without foundation, it can be a grounding. For those parched by thirst, it can be a fountain. In all seriousness, though, just give love a chance. And no, I'm not just talking about romance, where that second head you got hidden up in your pants, or even taking a pretty girl out to a dance. I'm talking about seeing a person out on the street and giving them a chance, maybe something to eat. I'm talking about caring for the old, the poor, the young, the weak, the sick, the refugees from our wars. I'm talking about caring for the birds and the beasts, the water, the air, the ground beneath our feet. I'm talking about all of existence. Operate with persistence, zero resistance, effortless, and yet total insistence, so you can go the distance. And just in case you missed it, I'll say it again, my friend, a little thing called love. And that's what we're here to do, is love in action, y'all. I got a couple more songs for you, and then we'll continue with our speakers. This next one's called Gas. It's about doing the things that you love to rejuvenate yourself. I got some more gas in the engine. Gotta go, gotta run, no pretending. Gotta go get it right. Yeah, I got some more gas in the engine. Gotta go, I see the sun descending, and I got places to go tonight. I think about it every night and every day, how I can find a way to keep my heart, mind, and soul like a lemonade. But I don't know what's man. The struggle is real. They heal from life's wounds. You gotta find the zeal. So peel back the layers. Tell me what it is like. The passion crash through your veins, man. What makes you take flight? Gotta make time and find it. Do it to be the feel it. The key to setting your inspiration free. Food for the soul. Healing for the heart. Take a hike to some food. Maybe make some hard and go dancing. Have some fun. Go hit the beach and go soak up some sun. Whatever it is that makes you feel energized. Wanna wake up in the morning and go open your eyes. I can't stress it enough. Stuff that makes life worth living. Give it, forgive it, enriching, fulfilling. Well, I got some more gas in the engine. Gotta go, gotta run, no pretending. Gotta go get it right. Yeah, got some more gas in the engine. Gotta go, I see that sun descending, and I got places to go tonight. Water the seed and see the tree that grows in the wastes of the mind. Find the blossom and rose, bestow unto itself. A bloom and compose, compose us and fall in progression through the house of lows. Love this journey can be early, this world behold a lot from time to time, set it side to side. You can shake it out, go to the mountains of the sea. Focus under the trees, the deserts, and quiet places. See the stars, feel the breeze, align your heart with things that can refresh, recharge, and infuse with the strength that kills the mesh. I'm obsessed with the homies, discuss the state of being mind freaking, all seeing, believing, breathing, conceiving. We battle to matter, short term versus the long, immediate, unsustainable. We style and songs, middle path of the journey, middle way the ideal. Take a moment to feel how these moments get healed. Well, I got several gas in the engine. Gotta go, gotta run, pretending. Gotta go get it right. Yeah, got some more gas in the engine. Gotta go, I see the sun descending, and I got places to go tonight. Yeah, y'all have fun out there. I'm glad you came out. Y'all make sure you stay hydrated. It's hot, and we can't afford to go to the hospital. We know that much. All right, yeah, that was a fun one. God dang it. We got one more before we bring some more speakers up here again. My name's Tommy. Smiley T with Smiley T in the tall trees. This next one's called Community. We all need it. Whole life I search but not find those folks that go and help you unwind. Those folks that know they slow they last down to make sure you're fine. They'll give you their time. People that bring the love and laughter, hold you up through success and disaster. Master the art of the heart and heal faster and after. Let you know that you matter. All those people that bring out your best, make you laugh from your chest, right or die to your death. All the folks that melt away your stress. You go feeling depressed, now you feeling regrets. There's something unique and divine when we're speaking our mind and we're speaking divine. That drive that lets you soul shine when you're lost in the twine to sublime in no time. Stronger together is you and me. Where would I be with no community? It takes a village, grow a forest from a tree. See that sweet simplicity, how this life was meant Isolation can lead to desolation, hating, feelings of open and desperation, fixation on the idea of just escaping, hating life for your energy instead of draining. Fuck now, we gonna help you rise above. Give me a call and I'll give you a hug. We gonna pick you up, we'll get you out the mud. We gonna raise the vibe, through the power of love. We gonna lift the weight, recalibrate, do it live, revive every stuff to take. We're gonna shake and bake your birthday cake. We're gonna make you shine, we'll get you feeling great. You need a sense of belonging, supported, but to break. Feeling gloomily, go get the unity. Yes, stop with you and we the best of community. Think of community, stronger together is you and me. Where would I be with no community? It takes a village, grow a forest from a tree. See that sweet simplicity, how this life was meant to be. Stronger together is your name. Where would I be with no community? It takes a village, grow a forest from a tree. See that sweet simplicity, how this life was meant to be. Yeah. Hey, thank y'all so much. Hope you're enjoying. Make sure you're staying hydrated. We got a few more speakers coming up. Don't go anywhere. Let's need to cool off. Take care of yourself.
All right. Now, Smiley King, he's coming back, so don't go away. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Cutter Ray Palacios with Hollywood for CalCare. Come on now. Hey folks, I was making a joke earlier this morning that I really wanted some like walk-on music, and I gotta say, I think Smiley T did me that favor, so give it up for Smiley T one more time. Woo! Okay, well, if I did have to choose something, I think it would have been Pump It by Black Eyed Peas. So instead, we're gonna do something different. This time, we're gonna do something similar. But when I say cow, I want you to say care. But here's the deal. When I do this, I need you to get louder and louder and louder, so loud that they can hear us. Are you ready? Cow! 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 Amazing. I'm pretty sure they can hear us. Thank you so much. Before I get into it, I first need to say, my name is Cutter Ray Palacios. I'm here representing Hollywood for CalCare, a grassroots board of dedicated film workers organizing the entertainment unions to pass single-payer healthcare in California. Oh, woo! Come for CalCare! Like I said, before I get into that, I need to wish happy anniversary to my incredible wife, Charlie. She is the smartest, kindest, most beautiful person inside and out that I know. Like the sun, she lights up the room she walks into. But you know what the best part is? She's a union woman, and union women get shit done. Happy anniversary, hon. I love you. More. I kid you not, when we pass by, people see her, then they see me, and they always ask, how did you become the luckiest person in the world? And that's the thing about luck. You either have it or you don't. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to be blessed with an incredible mother, and I give her full credit for my luck in marrying Charlie, because my mom made me who I am today. You see, my mom has a disability that deteriorates the muscle and nerve system. Raising two boys on your own is already hard enough as it is, but doing so with an aggressive, debilitating disability makes it exponentially times harder. Unfortunately, she had to teach me how to be the man of the house when I was only 7 years old. As her condition worsened, I remember having to strap her to the bed at night so her spouses didn't knock her out while she was sleeping. I remember having to walk with her hand in hand, step by step, everywhere she went, so that she wouldn't fall. But if she did, I was there to pick her back up. I remember when her memory went, and I was there to remind her of who she is and who she's raising me to be. She inspired me to have a better life. She inspired me to accomplish the American dream, to get a degree, to get a job, to get the proper employer-provided health care, and then so that I could get her the care that she so deservedly needed. When I moved to Hollywood to pursue acting, while everyone else was saying I should have a backup plan, she was saying, son, go do this for you. When I moved, it was hard. I spent the first 2 years unhoused, living out of my car, and I learned the basic needs of every human being. I felt the hunger pangs in my stomach. I felt the thirst on my dry lips, my cracked lips and my dry throat. I felt the heart pacing when my car needed repairs, and I felt the fear of what would happen if I became sick or injured. Then someone gave me hope. An IATSE grip told me, son, join the union, get paid well, get your health insurance. After 20 vested years, you can have health insurance for the rest of your life. And for a year, I worked every job I could to join the union. I am proud to say for the past 10, they don't call me son anymore. They call me brother. But after 10 years, I am not halfway there.
While I have been a union member for 10, I do not have 10 vested years because you see, my industry is dying. During the streaming wars, our industry was booming. Netflix, Disney, Hulu, Warner Brothers, Paramount, all of them making so much content that we didn't have enough people to fill the open position. So instead, they decided to work us to death. Then came the strike because we were tired of dying. We were tired of being mistreated. We were tired of not seeing our families for working 60, 80-hour weeks. The studio executive said it was cruel but necessary to allow those strikes to drag out until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. But that is not all that we lost. We lost our health care as well. One after another, union members couldn't put food on the table, lost their homes, lost their insurance, and all of a sudden that fear that I felt when I first came to Hollywood came back. And it hasn't left. Those same studios tried up the work with their consolidations, their mergers, their licensing of past shows, over creating new content, and their runaway productions to countries that have universal health care. Because see, in California, producers pay 30% more for every hour work for a health and pension. That 30% that they don't have to pay in other countries, because other countries recognize healthcare is a human right. After the negotiations and the strikes, we were told how hard we fought at the negotiating table to keep our health insurance and secure funding. Much good that does if there is no work. I struck luck landing a day player position on 2 shows, but I carried the guilt of watching my union kin lose everything. I was earning my hours back to keep my health insurance because that is all I cared about. I was on track to meet my deadline. That is until one fateful night when I went running after burglars because they were stealing my kit. I broke my foot in the pursuit, willing to risk my life for health insurance. I came up 10 hours short of keeping it. What was supposed to be a 6-week break and join my crew again turned into 10 long months of healing, and there was no work afterwards. I then joined the thousands of entertainment workers without work, without health insurance, and without hope. I may be here representing Hollywood for CalCare, but I'm speaking to all entertainment workers across California, San Diego, San Francisco, and right here in Sacramento. And to all the other casual gig workers, from the rideshare and delivery drivers to the landscapers, the digital nomads, and all the other casual gig workers. It takes all of them, all of us, all of you to create a movement and tell our labor leaders how much of the bargaining power we're using at the negotiating table to secure a health care plan, which should be a fundamental right. They should be able to focus on globalization and runaway production to other countries that have the universal health care. They should be able to focus on the threat of mergers and generative AI and non-union outsourced work. They should be able to focus on the issues threatening our livelihood and our working conditions, not our lives. Tell them, our labor leaders, to back AB 1900. And then tell our political leaders that they should do what they say they are going to do. It is time to catch up with the rest of the world. It is time that our health not be the biggest bargaining chip on the table. It is time that politicians act on their promises. Healthcare is a human right, and it is time that we have it.
Sisters and brothers, give it up for Cutter Ray Palacios. Please welcome to the stage Reggie Wong with Asian Pacific Islanders for CalCare. Lift it up.
Hi, I'm Reggie Wong with Asian Pacific Islanders for CalCare. And I just want to say, fuck this model minority men! Colonizers use the model minority stereotype to hit Asians, Pacific Islanders, and Native Americans, and other minorities, and lie that we're all successful because we don't challenge white supremacy. We just work hard and don't need affirmative action. The model minority myth people think we're okay when many of us aren't okay because we don't have health care. That's why our group supports CalCare AB 1900. We want to address healthcare disparities for all marginalized people. We believe healthcare is a human right, no matter your employment status, age, citizenship, ethnicity, whatever. We're in one of the richest states, and we pour millions into the healthcare industry. So we have the need to provide healthcare to everyone. Our people know diversity and the need for cultural sensitivity in the medical field. We got 5.6 million APIs in this state from 42 different nationalities. Many of us are immigrants and or working class. 60% of our community are senior citizens who can't speak English well. So we know the struggle of getting a doctor or nurse who can speak your parents' language. We're here to get bilingual, bicultural care for anyone who needs it. Years ago, we tried to stop the closure of Sakura Intermediate Care Facility for Japanese American elders. Those senior citizens endured the internment camp, and some were 100 years old. Unfortunately, the nursing home was shut down to be converted to market rate housing. If we had CalCare, nursing homes wouldn't be run for profit, and Sakura might still be open to treat those elders in their native Japanese language and culture. Being a poor immigrant with no health coverage means even treatable diseases can be fatal. Members of the Thai Community Development Center found peptic ulcers are the second leading cause of death for Thai immigrants in LA's Thai town. That same survey found that 69% of their study group did not have health coverage. Our members have seen too often how racism is behind systemic barriers to our well-being and can even send us to the hospital. From 2022 to 2023, we supported the Roque, a Filipino family who were attacked in a hate crime. The family needed a GoFundMe to help cover their medical expenses. But shouldn't our healthcare system treat trauma victims without demanding more money from them? The CalCare bill is here to make sure the survivors of hate crimes get free medical help. Nearly 10% of Pacific Islander women in California lack health insurance, according to the California Budget and Policy Center. APIs have the lowest rates of seeking mental health care because of systemic barriers, along with language difficulties and other factors. And with state and federal governments need to make budget cuts, it's often at the expense of immigrants and people of color. Cuts from bills HR 1 and California's budget means nearly 300,000 unemployed Asians and 60,000 employed Pacific Islanders aged 26 to 64 could lose their Medi-Cal benefits because of monthly premiums and difficult recertification requirements, according to the California Budget and Policy Center. And on top of all that, we got to worry about ice snatching us out when we go to the hospital. So can I get a fuck ice? Fuck ice! Louder, I can't hear you! Fuck ice! So we're up against the feds, but by forming a united front, we can take on ICE and we can take on insurance lobbyists. Yes. Also, what, dude? Yeah, fuck Core Civic and fuck Geocore. Shame on Mike Fogg for kicking us out of his office. What's the snap? Fucking listen to us, Mike Fogg. The model minority stereotype that APIs don't get involved. We got people who step up. So let me give a shout out to some of them. Thai CDC, what did he have a book? API Rise Los Angeles, the Filipino Workers Union, Chinese Progressive Association, San Francisco, Sawant, Loke Filipino, and everyone else that supports us. Thai APIs out there. When you get home, speak up with the other groups, tell our communities about how AB 1900 is going to help our people get the healthcare we need. We need to get aggressive in holding our elected officials accountable and cultivate non-corporate candidates to build a grassroots movement. Oh, and join us support API for CalCare. Also, free Palestine, free Eden, Alex, and Alvarado. And shout out to Harvard Area Peace Patrol and the Hill Network for fighting ICE. And once again, fuck ICE. And leave you with the fuck alone.
Thank you. That was Reggie Wong, API for CalCare. Sisters and brothers, lift it up. for Lori Crawford from the IDEA Alliance. Lori Crawford in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Are we going to get universal health care? Yes. I'm Dr. Lori Crawford. I'm a special education teacher from Stockton. I am a disability rights advocate, and I'm a merit member of the IDA Alliance, a group fighting for full funding for IDA. But beyond that, our students need health care. We've heard of many huge catastrophic ways that the lack of care impacts our students. I just want to highlight how in small ways it can be devastating as well. I do a lot of initial assessment. Students that are referred to be able to determine if they need special education. And the first step is we have to do vision and hearing screening. So many times a student fails one of those, and we are unable to proceed with testing because we don't know if the results will be accurate. And so many times with the vision, without insurance, it can take up to a year, if not longer, before that student ever even gets assessed, which prolongs if they do qualify the skills and the instruction they need, and that gap widens to them. So there are so many ways. There's sequence and those little instances that we need to get universal health care so our students are able to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori Crawford with the IDEA Alliance. Speaking of the IDEA Alliance, we have another speaker, Sawant. Welcome again from the IDEA Alliance, that's the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, fighting for special education funding.
Good afternoon. Hello. My name is Sawant, and I'm here representing the IDEA Alliance. It is truly an honor to be here with you today at the California State Capitol site for single-pay healthcare Day of Action. Thank you to the organizers for creating a space of community inclusive action to fight for healthcare for all. I remember being told as a child, having to translate for my parents who did not speak English at all, trying to understand medical terms while trying to learn about who I am. It wasn't just about going to the doctor. It was about navigating a system that was confusing, complicated, and hard to access. I would constantly pass down between physical and occupational therapists and never fully understanding what was wrong with me, while also navigating the education system as a student with disabilities under an IEP. Over time, I realized that healthcare and education are deeply connected. When students with disabilities can't access consistent care, it impacts how we learn, how we show up, and our ability to succeed. And for me, accessing support wasn't just about my health, it was about my education and my future. And no student should fall behind because they cannot access care. And for many of my communities, that is the reality. Healthcare becomes something you have to figure out rather than something you should rely on. And those experiences not just shape how I navigate the system myself, they shape my purpose. I previously served as the inaugural student commissioner on the California Department of Education Higher Education and Special Education. I've advocated for students with disabilities across the state who face the same barriers as once did. Today, I fight with you today and continue to work with the IDEA Alliance. And that is why single-payer healthcare matters. And that is why AB 1900 is so critical, because it brings us one step closer to a system where access and inclusive is an actual right. And healthcare should depend on your income, your language, your ability to advocate from a young age. It should simply be there when you need it, because healthcare is a right. And single payer is about ensuring that everyone has access to care. But systems do not change on their own. A change happens when we push our legislators to pass AB 1900, and when we share our stories and we lobby. And now it is our turn. our turn to show up for one another, to build a system where no one is navigating it alone, because that is how change starts. Not alone, but together. And CalCare is healthcare for all Californians, by Californians, and for all Californians in West California. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Sawant Jargal in the house. Sisters and brothers, please lift it up for Shelly Ertney from Educators for Single Payer.
Hello! Everybody's looking so much more refreshed now that the shade has moved in. It's so lovely. My name is Shelly Ertney. I'm the co-founder of Educators for Single Payer. We are a group of union educators, like my Educators for Single Payer comrades, Archie and Chris with me. We're fighting for healthcare justice for our students, our staffs, and our communities. We're speaking here today because, like a lot of you, we're absolutely sick and tired of Democrats sabotaging single-payer healthcare while claiming to support it. And we're absolutely sick of California Democrats refusing to pass CalCare while also claiming to be supporters of public education. Because as public educators, as public school teachers, we see how our current healthcare system negatively impacts our public schools. And if there's one thing I want to all take away from this little spiel here today, it's that healthcare justice is absolutely a public education issue. Our unjust, inequitable, predatory, for-profit healthcare system is thwarting the promise of thriving public schools in every community, and it's kneecapping the incredible potential of our students. I'm going to highlight a few ways. I know we have several amazing teachers up here speaking, so some of this is a little bit repeated, but that's okay. Never bad thing to hammer home a point. So a few things. First of all, every public school district in California, if you've been paying attention, especially to the strikes going on, provides sort of health benefits for their staff. In our multi-payer for-profit system, that means public education funds. Our limited public education funds get siphoned away from our community schools to pad insurance company profits. In my school district, I teach down in Santa Monica. About 12% of our budget goes towards paying health insurance premiums for staff. 12% of our budget. That's not unusual. Millions in already limited public education funds going to insurance companies instead of our students in our schools. A 2017 study found that single-payer system could free up $5 million, with a B, million, for California schools. While another study showed that CalCare could cut school district health benefit expenditures by half or more. And I want you to really think about what recouping those funds for our schools could be. California, we hear our politicians, Mr. Newsom over there, bragging about being the fourth largest economy in the world. We have the largest class sizes in the country, the most crowded classrooms. With CalCare lifting the healthcare cost burden on school districts, we could actually invest in meaningful class size reduction, one of the most proven and powerful tools for improving educational outcomes and social emotional well-being of our students. The money CalCare could recoup for our schools could also mean much-needed investments in facilities, counselors, supplies, human resources, salaries, and so much more. With healthcare insurance premiums constantly rising, the problem of funds being stolen from our schools by insurance company greed is only getting worse. Besides our current healthcare system draining money away from our public schools, it's also directly harming our students' access to education. We know that a child's basic human needs have got to be met before learning can truly happen. Just as we understand that kids can't learn if they're hungry, we know that kids can't learn if they're not healthy. We know that kids' ability to focus, retain information, and grow cognitively is adversely affected by stress. And the stress of our healthcare system puts on their families, health, and finances impacts them. We know that students within our already marginalized communities feel these impacts even more acutely. Single-payer healthcare, such as CalCare, where every kid and every parent has comprehensive quality healthcare without cost barriers, could help open up a world of learning and possibilities for our students. 2014 study from the Kaiser Family Foundation found that students with consistent healthcare had better attendance rates, increased focus, higher test scores, better graduation rates, better long-term educational attainment rates, and improved mental and emotional health. The bottom line is that single-payer healthcare, CalCare, would give our students a better chance at rising to their teachers, that's what we want. That's important to us. From a union standpoint, really quickly, because I just want to share a couple quick points, because we are union educators. Things that drive me nuts about why some unions will not get on board with single payer. We're lucky CPA has endorsed single payer and has taken a support position on it. A passive position. We want it to be more active, but passive. My local passed a single payer resolution. So we're getting there. But we hear a lot of times that there's this fear that people will want to be in a union if we have universal health care because the unions get us health care, right? But the reality is that countries that have universal health care actually have higher rates of union membership. So that's like a bunk statement. Secondly, and I want to press this off with saying, bless our bargaining teams because they are doing the work. But no union negotiated healthcare benefits will ever be as comprehensive or cost effective as single payer. Ever. There's just no way. So to wrap up our little spiel here, I'm going to ask all of you, please go back out into your communities and reach out to your local PTA, your local school board, your teachers union, and help them understand healthcare justice is a public education issue. If we care about our community public schools, we have to push for single payer healthcare now. No more excuses. We need it now. If you would like some resources to help you do that, stop by the Educators for Single Payer table over there. We've got flyers that you can take back to your communities, to your local, to your PTSAs. Let's go win CalCare for our students, our schools, and our communities. Thank you.
Hey, all right, Educators for Single Payer in the house.
Run for office and vote who you want in office. If you don't like the job they're doing, then replace them with the people who will do the job.
All right. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Case and Fern. He has another digital pressure campaign reminder. Take out your cell phones. And he also has some things to say of his own. Case and Fern in the house.
Hey guys, again, my name is Case and Fern. I'm the Vice President of Field of Burn SFB and a proud member of CUSP as well, and also an affiliate of our revolution. So let's just be real about something. In the richest country in the world, healthcare isn't treated like a privilege, not a right. And for millions of people, access to care is tied to one thing, your job. Think about that. Your ability to see a doctor, to get medication, to survive a medical emergency. It's tied to whether or not you are employed and where you are employed. That means if you lose your job, you can lose your health care. If you want to leave a job, you might feel trapped. If you're working multiple jobs, you might still not have coverage. That is not freedom. That is control. And even for those who do have a union job, who fought hard, who organized, who won benefits, you still have to sit at the bargaining table and negotiate for health care. Let's be clear, health care should not be something you have to bargain for. Healthcare should be guaranteed, period. Because when healthcare is tied to employment, it gives corporations power over your life. It forces workers to stay silent. It forces people to stay in jobs they don't want. And it turns something as basic as staying alive into a negotiation. And we see the consequences of this every single day. We see people delaying care. We see people rationing medication. We see people going into debt or worse because they got sick. We even see it with people who, on paper, should be fine. Actor James Van Der Beek shared that while battling cancer, he had to sell his belongings just to keep up with medical costs. If that's happening to someone with resources, imagine what's happening to working families. That is not just unfortunate, that is unacceptable. And that's why we're here, because CalCare, AB 1900, offers a different path. A system where healthcare is guaranteed to everyone, not tied to your job, not dependent on your income, not something you have to negotiate for. You get care because you are a human being.
and that's it. And yes, people will have to say it's too expensive. But they don't say is that we are already paying. Families are paying thousands every year in premiums, deductibles, co-pay, money that goes straight to insurance companies, whether you get care or not. You're already funding a system that profits off our pain. CalCare replaces that with a system that actually works. And the reason we don't have it yet is simple, because powerful interests are making billions off the current system, and they are fighting to keep that away. I mean, keep it that way. So change doesn't come from waiting; it comes from us. I know a lot of people feel like the system's too big, too corrupt, or that they don't have time. But movements don't require everyone to do everything. They require a lot of people to do something. So we made it simple. Right over there, behind where my uncle is, we're running a people-powered digital action. So you just grab a poster, you write your message, your story, your reason, your demand, and we take your photo. And that photo gets shared so your voice reaches beyond this space. It takes 5 minutes to be seen, 5 minutes to speak up, 5 minutes to be a part of something bigger, and 5 minutes to get some water because it's damn hot out here. So come through, make your sign, and share your voice, because this is how we build momentum. This is how we build pressure, and this is how we win. Thank you.
We lift it up, Kate and Vern. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the stage Michelle Byrne with Feel the Burn, SFB, San Fernando Valley.
Hey everybody, my name is Michelle Manabi Byrne, and I am the president of Feel the Burn San Fernando Valley, and have been for the past 7 years, and the strategy chair for CUSP, California United for Single Payer. Shout out to the strategy team, and shout out to all the teams, coalition building, education committee, communication. You all rock, and I'd like to say we got all the people summons out today. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Anyway, okay. So just thank you so much for being here today for this Healthcare Day of Action. Today is about sending a clear message to our legislators in Sacramento. The people of California are ready for guaranteed health care for all. The time to pass CalCare AB 1900 is now. At Feel the Burn San Fernando Valley, healthcare is not just another policy issue, it is the #1 fight of our time. Because our health affects every aspect of justice in our communities. Healthcare affects housing. Healthcare affects environmental justice. Healthcare affects safety. Healthcare affects racial justice and economic justice. Our health touches every system we live under. And the problem in this country is not simply access to care. The real problem is that we are forced to live under a for-profit healthcare system that treats human health like a commodity. The United States is the only wealthy country in the world that has put healthcare on Wall Street. Our illness is traded for profit. Our suffering raises stock prices. And in this system, death and dying literally generate revenue. This is not healthcare. This is a business model. And the people paying the price are working people. Every one of us has experienced this system in some form. Insurance through your job, union insurance, Medi-Cal, Medicare, PPO, HMO, copay, deductibles, in-network, out-of-network, 10, 20, 30% co-insurance. All of this complicated nonsense exists for one reason: to keep us confused and divided. It keeps people arguing about plans and coverage instead of recognizing something much bigger. The entire system itself is broken. Because this system is hierarchical, it is privileged, it is racist, and it is patriarchal. Having to get healthcare through your job is degrading. It ties survival to an employer. It tells people that whether they stay healthy depends on whether they work and how much money they make. That is not dignity, that is control. And to keep this system in place, we are constantly fed lies. You hear it all the time. If we had healthcare for all, the wait times would be terrible. Our taxes would be too high. It's too expensive. That's bullshit. Right now, families in this country are already paying enormous amounts for healthcare. In 2025, the average total cost of family premiums, including employer contributions, was nearly $27,000 a year. $27,000. And that money goes straight to insurance corporations, whether we are sick or not. It's taken out of wages, out of benefits, out of the value of our labor, and handed to corporations whose business model depends on denying care and maximizing profit. Meanwhile, people are still paying copays, still paying deductibles, still getting surprise bills, still going bankrupt. And here's something else that people need to understand. This system doesn't exist by accident. It exists because corporations spend enormous amounts of money to keep it this way. Health insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, hospital corporations, they hire armies of lobbyists whose job it is to walk the halls of government and pressure politicians to protect their profits. They fund campaigns, they pour money into elections, they invest money into influencing legislation, and they work every single day to make sure that politicians do not give the people health care for all. That is exactly why this fight is tied to another critical fight, ending Citizens United and getting money out of politics. Because as long as corporate money controls our political system, corporations will continue to profit from our sickness. And if universal health care doesn't work, then why do other countries keep it? Why hasn't Canada gotten rid of it? Why hasn't the UK gotten rid of it? Why hasn't France, Germany, Australia gotten rid of it? Because it works. No other civilized country runs healthcare as a profit machine. None. But guess what? We have the opportunity to change that right now. California can be the first state in this country to guarantee healthcare for everyone through CalCare, AB 1900. 1 in 8 people in the United States live right here in California. If California leads, the rest of the country will follow. That's how movements grow. But there is something even bigger about this fight. Healthcare is the one issue that can unite people across every background, every job, and every community. Because the health of our families affects us. The health of our friends affects us. The health of our neighbors affects us. The health of undocumented people affects us. The health of everyone affects us. No matter who someone is, no matter how much money they make, no matter what insurance plan they think protects them, our health is connected. And the idea that wealth protects someone from the system is a lie. People with good jobs will go bankrupt for medical bills. People with insurance still get denied care. People follow every rule and still get screwed by a system designed to profit from illness. So this fight is bigger than healthcare policy. This fight is about power. Because when millions of people unite around healthcare as a human right, something much bigger begins to happen. A social movement grows. A movement strong enough to challenge corporate power. A movement strong enough to end Citizens United and get money out of politics. And eventually, a movement strong enough to do what this country truly needs, a general strike. Because the people who profit from this system depend on our labor. They depend on our participation. They depend on our silence. But when working people stand together and refuse to participate in a system that profits from sickness, that is when real change becomes possible. So let's raise our voices. When I say, what do we want? You say healthcare. What do we want? Healthcare. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Healthcare. When do we want it? Now. Healthcare is a human right, and together we are going to fight every single person in this until every single person in this country has it. So if you'd like to sign up to join this fight, visit us at the Field of Burns, Stanford now, So Valley booth or at the CUSP tent and sign up and join us. Let's build this movement strong enough to win healthcare for all.
All right, Michelle Byrne in the house. Sisters and brothers, please put your hands together for Sheila Bates of Healthcare for Us. Sheila Bates.
What up, everybody? Well, wait, come on. Let's get to the energy up right real quick. What up, everybody? Can I have y'all join me in for chants right quick? All right, let's start out with Black Lives We Matter here. 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 What do we want? Why do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? That's right. I appreciate y'all for joining me in some chants. So I am Sheila Bates. I'm a birth worker and the policy coordinator for Black Lives Matter Grassroots and organized locally with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and Black Lives Matter California. And I'm also a proud board member of Healthcare for Us. People might be surprised to hear that Black Lives Matter is actively working on single-payer healthcare. If y'all aren't questioning that, y'all don't know all of what we do. Because we recognize that this is an issue of state-sanctioned violence by virtue of the neglect, and understand that historically a single-payer healthcare system in this country does not exist. Not just because of racism, but specifically because of anti-Blackness. It is no wonder that Black people are at the bottom of almost every healthcare outcome. Black Lives Matter California supports this bill as a part of an ongoing legacy of movement. The Black Panther Party saw that the issues affecting Black people like sickle cell anemia were not being researched. So they started to research it themselves. And then the government wanted to take it over and wanted to start doing something about it. They saw that people in our communities were suffering from substance abuse disorders, and they were being criminalized instead of getting the care that they deserved. So they brought in acupuncturists because they knew that it helped the actual problem, right? And that is a part of healthcare. That is a part of healthcare. Healthcare for Us is an organization that exists to fight solely to fight for healthcare. And I'm proud to say that we look at that from a broad perspective, recognizing that issues like policing and prisons and so much more impact our health. So we have to address these issues as well. And by the way, sign our petition at bit.ly/pass1900. I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and say that with me. Say it after me. bit.ly/ and say this next part with your whole chest. Pass 1900. So today, as we gather to support a bill that is long overdue, we think of those who should be here with us. But we're taken too soon because of a lack of insurance, because of delayed care, because of denied care, because of medical apartheid, and others who have been impacted by this issue. And we gather to fight for a bill to say not one more. Not one more baby when Black infants are 2.3 times more likely to die in the first year of their birth of their life than white infants. Not one more Black pregnant person is going to die when they are 3 to 5 times more likely to die in childbirth than their white counterparts. Not one more Black person falling through the cracks because of cultural incompetence, a lack of testing like my niece, medical neglect, or medical apartheid. Not one more person denied care. Not one more person delayed care because delayed care is denied care. Not one more person who experiences a delay of care because one more time, delayed care is denied care. This is about rural hospitals and urban hospitals getting the resources they need, including equipment and staffing, with all departments fully functioning. Healthcare AB 1900 by Osh Kalra addresses all of these things and even has a just transition plan because the nurses care, because we care. It is comprehensive healthcare with no deductibles, no co-pays, no fear of getting that hospital bill later. It is culturally competent care with an Office of Health Equity. It's about decoupling employment and healthcare so labor unions can negotiate for things like better pay, for childcare,
for maternity leave, for more time off and other benefits instead of health care. Because what you legislate, you don't have to negotiate. It's about small businesses like Gina's not having to eat into their marginal profits and still taking care of their workers. Or nonprofits saving money they spend on employee health care, like the nonprofit I work for, to instead reinvest in other benefits and still living by their values. This is not a pipe dream, y'all. It is not unrealistic. It is a standard in most other countries. And yet we have the audacity to say we're number one. And yet in this country, we pay more money per capita than any other country with the worst healthcare outcomes, the most medical debt, the most uninsured people, and California in particular is the world's fourth largest economy. And somehow we can't figure this out. And yet, research has indicated that a single-payer healthcare system would save us money, in large part because the insurance companies that we all hate take 33% of the per dollar that we spend on healthcare. As Medicare and Medi-Cal are under attack, which account for 1 out of 3 people, y'all, and cost for healthcare and insurance continues to skyrocket, the time for CalCare is now. We can do this and we must. This is an abolitionist bill. It is about building a systems of care. I want my tax dollars, my hard-earned money to pay for doctor's appointments, prescriptions, treatments, wellness, pediatricians, midwives, birth workers, and nurses. Not wars, not ICE, not policing, not prison, not probation or other institutions that harm, kill, terrorize, and criminalize our people. One more note about the police. A police association was one of the first organizations to oppose CalCare, y'all. This is something we can do now. We can pass CalCare now. We can treat people with the care they deserve. First care and always care. The bill is written and introduced and it steps away from being reality to paving the way for a radically different world that is worthy of us. Newsom and the California state legislature in its Democratic supermajority must pass CalCare now. It is past due. This is delivering on a premise that healthcare is a human right and a promise that Newsom made when he ran and won twice on the issue of single-payer healthcare. So he and every member of the California state legislature must work to pass this bill because it is necessary and just, and because we won't let him fail us. If he fails us in California again for the third time, he will fail us if he makes it to the White House that he dreams of. We don't care how much money lobbyists, special interest insurance companies, or shadowy forces throw at politicians to do their bidding. The California state legislature, the Capitol, and the governor work for us. Because CalCare is about saving lives, preventing families from deciding between life and prescriptions, delaying that trip to the dentist, or getting new glasses for their child, and when their prescription is outdated. It is about patience over profit, care over greed, and healthcare as a human right. So we are here now, we rally now, we mobilize now, we organize now, we educate now, we use every tool in our tool belt to make this a reality. We fight for it like our lives depend on it because they do, and we refuse to leave this fight to one more generation.
Thank you. Next up, please welcome Mark Norberg from California United for Single Payer. Oh, that's me. Hello, California United for Single Payer in the house! My name is Mark Norberg, and it's my great honor to be the current chair of CUSP. I want to start by clarifying the But this day of action is not a culmination, it is a beginning of a movement that seeks to bring people and organizations together, to unite those fighting for the working class, the poor, communities of color, and other marginalized groups into an unstoppable force to win once and for all single-payer health care in this state and in this country. That, sisters and brothers, is the goal. CUSP is a group that says that for-profit healthcare has no place in a civilized society. And any party that has a supermajority in this state has had the power to pass single payer for decades, and consequently is to blame for why we don't have it today. CUSP is an organization done with excuses, an organization that is taking the gloves off and is going to be calling out political parties and politicians who stand in our way. And our call to action is resonating across this state and beyond. California, United for Single Payer, opened its doors just 3 months ago. And we have grown from a group of about 5 activists meeting over Zoom to an alliance of 13 organizations representing over 6,200 members. Healthcare for us, lift it up. Feel the burn, San Fernando Valley, make some noise. PNHP, Santa Barbara, Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, Hollywood for CalCare, Educators for Single Payer, the IDA Alliance, San Gabriel Valley Progressives, Jewish and Allied Educators for Palestine, San Joaquin Valley Democratic Club, the Democratic Socialists of America, Santa Barbara, the Asian Pacific Islanders for CalCare, and our newest member, the LA Baby Cooperative. In addition to our CUSP organizations, we have a number of very special guests here today. The Green Party of California in the house. CalSTRS Divest in the house. Building relations with Cuba and all the way from Washington State. Workers strike back! Let's lift it up. Please join me in giving a very special shout out to Smiley T of Smiley T in the Tall Trees for bringing incredible music to talent our stage. A big round of applause to our DJ Scott P. And last but not least, Margie Bradley and her hospitality tent. Thank you, Margie. Finally, I want to thank our featured speakers, Dr. Melina Abdullah of Black Lives Matter, Tina Fredericks from the Pasadena School Board, Melanie Cohen of Code Pink, Kshama Sawant of Workers Strike Back, and Dr. Butch Ware of the Green Party of California. I want to leave you all with this thought. We are here today to make a very clear demand of the California State Legislature. We are here today to demand that the California State Legislature pass the CalCare bill. That our political leaders place people over profit. That the California State Legislature place principle and values over their corporate donors. But sisters and brothers, I would argue that that is not the most important demand that we can make. I believe the most important demand is the demand we make of ourselves. We cannot point to this building back there and demand that those within it act and vote morally if we ourselves are not willing to do it. We cannot point to that building back there and demand that those inside it vote for single-payer health care if we are not willing to do it. Because how many of us, when it is our turn to vote, when we enter those voting booths, when we have that one chance to directly interface with our political system, we vote against single-payer health care. We vote for a politician or a political party that does not support single-payer. Sisters and brothers, if we have voted for a Republican or a Democrat in the national election, the most recent national election, the litany of excuses. I need to vote tactically. I need to be a realist. I'm a pragmatic progressive. I don't want to throw my vote away. We can't let Donald Trump win. Sisters and brothers, we throw our votes away when we vote for a politician or a political party that does not stand for our values. We allow Donald Trump to win when we throw our vote away on a party that has no moral center. And if we are not going to stand for our values when we vote, then we have no grounds to demand it of others. Least of all, our political leaders. Donald Trump has revealed many things about this country. But I think most of all, he has shown us just how fast this country can change, just how fast Congress can act when it wants to. Let no one ever doubt that we can have single payer tomorrow if we just demand it. We can have the Green New Deal tomorrow if we just demand it. The world can be a paradise tomorrow if we just demand it. Sisters and brothers, demand it. Thank you. And with that, it is my great pleasure to announce our very next very special speaker, Tina Frederick, from the Pasadena School Board. Let's get out.
Hi, I'm Tina Fredericks from Pasadena, originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically Sunnyvale. I know that where that is. I'm a former high school math teacher, mother of 2 teenage girls, and board president of Pasadena Unified School District. Why am I calling this a healthcare revolution? Because I want to give credit to the U.S. Senator who called for a revolution in 2016 with Medicare for all, and I would not have the courage to run for office and wouldn't have the opportunity to be here, stand before you today if it wasn't for him, and that's Senator Bernie Sanders. We call for a revolution because that's what it's going to take. A movement. All of us saying enough is enough. That's right. Healthcare is a human right. We must stand up against the for-profit healthcare insurance and pharmaceutical industry getting in the way of the healthcare we all need. Why is it the most powerful and richest nation on the planet does not guarantee healthcare for all? Before 2016, I didn't care too much about politics, but I was a loyal Democrat, doing my part to vote Democrat in every election. But honestly, it's not enough to be a Democrat. In California, Democrats have had a supermajority for decades. You've already said that. Why don't we have single payer by now? It's no wonder insurance companies know that they can buy politicians through campaign contributions. Studies show that the top contributors from the healthcare industry, insurance industry, actually donated more to Democratic candidates than Republican candidates in California. Why am I speaking here as a school board trustee? Why does health insurance have to do with public education? Skyrocketing healthcare costs are devastating our public school budgets. 80% of our school district budget goes towards salaries and benefits, while funding is shrinking due to the declining enrollment for many school districts. CalCare would translate into millions of dollars in savings for our K-12 school districts by providing comprehensive healthcare to all its employees. For example, the cost of my district, Pasadena Unified School District, to cover our employees' medical benefits in 2020 was $26 million. Imagine what school districts could do to educate our children. If we freed up that expense, we could hire more special education staff, more nurses, counselors, custodians, dignified raises for our teachers and staff. The possibilities are endless. Ready for gloves off, Mark?
Let's go. Do it.
Without guaranteed health care, thousands of Californians died each year. The infuriating part is these deaths are totally avoidable. California Democratic leaders had every opportunity to support single payer 8 years ago. We won't forget SB 562, Healthy California Act in 2018. That's right. Because we didn't pass SB 562, since then, tens of thousands of more Californians have died unnecessarily because they were uninsured or underinsured. California Democratic leaders, you had the opportunity to save them. Yeah. We will not forget. The biggest coward of them all, I'm talking about you, Anthony Rendon, the Assembly Speaker at the time, when you shelved single payer in 2018. Let's be clear. This means you are perfectly fine with thousands of Californians dying, not getting the health care and medication that they needed when they needed it. The blood is on your hands. Yes! Rendon, you lost our trust. Your action and inaction cost Californians their lives. What makes you think we can trust you with California's 6 million public school children? Hell no. By running for the superintendent of public instruction of California. You have proven that you are bought and sold. We don't need Democrats in name only, but courageous Democrats who truly represent the people, who walk the walk, actually delivering on the values of the Democratic Party. Folks, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I'm going to be honest, it's hard to defend the Democratic Party. When our leadership turns their back on working families, leaving them to die is indefensible. The people need courageous leadership now. Democrats, it's time to step up or step down. If you can't deliver for the people, we'll find someone who can. Thank you.
Thank you. Tina Fredericks in the house. Sisters and brothers, please put your hands together for Melanie Cohen of Code Pink. Code Pink in the house. Come on down, Melanie. There she is.
That's funny. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Melanie Cohen, and I'm a longtime member of Code Pink. Code Pink is a feminist grassroots organization working to end U.S. warfare and imperialism. We support peace and human rights initiatives and redirect resources into healthcare, education, green jobs, and life-affirming programs that uplift human dignity. We believe in universal health care and must include the right to an abortion. And this is why I am here today to defend AB 1900. As the powers that be insist in using bombs and warfare to kill and destroy and conquer, Code Pink uses its resources to uplift and support and bring open dialogue to a world of cooperation and peace. Code Pink began when a group of women wanted to stop the U.S. from invading Iraq in 2002. A 4-month vigil was held outside the White House where the founders, Medea Benjamin and Jody Evans, and a group of 25 other brave women were arrested for their actions. The name Code Pink plays on the former Bush administration's color-coded security alerts. Yellow, orange, red, that signal terrorist threats. While Bush's color-coded alerts were based on fear and were used to justify violence, the Code Pink alert is a feisty call for people to wage peace. Since then, coping has become a worldwide network of people committed to working for peace and social justice. We have become famous for confronting the warmongers in the halls and hearing rooms of Congress here in Congress and in Assembly, the national conventions of both the Republicans and Democrats, political fundraisers, and in the streets, and right now here in the streets of Sacramento. Some of our largest ongoing campaigns are Palestine, free Palestine, freeing Venezuela and ending sanctions on Latin America, free Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores, leader of the sovereign nation of Venezuela. Hands off Cuba. Cuba see blockade, no! Divest from the war machine. Cut the Pentagon. War is not free. China is not our enemy. And most importantly, growing a local peace economy. We need peace. And right now in California, nothing is more important than uplifting, life-affirming health care for all. That is why we are here today to hold our leaders responsible and to promote and vote for AB 1900. We must work for a new economy that does not devote over $1.5 trillion to defense. Yet a 15% cut in this obscene budget could pay for single payer in California and throughout the United States. That's why we need health care, not warfare. Say it with me. Health care, not warfare. Yet the argument we always hear is that there is not enough money to pass single payer. There is. We must find the political will, and the way to do so. What comes to mind is the struggle of the Cuban peoples. Since the 60s, the Cubans have been a resilient culture and were able to work together to turn their economy around to one that could teach and train and feed their people. And the Cuban medical system is renowned worldwide for its ability to aid others as well as the Cuban population. If a culture is committed to focus on care, then the patients thrive. But how was this done? How were they able to do this? Collective will. Keep that in mind. Collective will. So today, as we speak truth to power to our representatives here in Sacramento, it is critical that we pass AB 1900. Remember this Cuban resilience. They took an abandoned U.S. Army base and turned it into a world-renowned teaching and training facility for world doctors who have helped to heal around this country. Can you imagine if we have, the United States, funds over 891 military bases worldwide? Ugh. The Cuban people took an abandoned one and turned it into positivity and light. Can we do this? Yes! Yes, we can. So I ask each and every one of you to take a pledge today for peace. Put your hands up. I will work to bring all peoples together. I will work for single payer and peace for all. Excellent. Okay, so quickly, I'd like to give you an update on what's happening in Cuba right now. Okay. So this morning, 140 people from across the United States have departed Miami for Havana as part of the International Nuestra America Convoy, delivering humanitarian aid to Cuba and protesting U.S. policies that are deliberately creating an economic crisis on the island. This delegation, organized by the Peace Group Code Pink in collaboration with Progressive International, Cuban Americans for Cuba, and other partners, including doctors, lawyers, union leaders, social media influencers, and community organizers from across the country. The delegation will be carrying 6,300 pounds of urgently needed medicines and medical supplies, including solar panels, neonatal equipment, analgesics, catheters, etc., etc. The supplies, valued at $433,000, were collected by global health partners. You cannot claim to care about human rights while deliberately depriving a country of fuel, medicine, and basic economic lifelines. That's Medina Benjamin of Code Pink. We refuse to stand by while our government carries out a depraved policy of economic warfare. The convoy represents a growing international outcry against U.S. policies that amount to collective punishment of the Cuban population. Danny Valdez says, as a Cuban American, I'm sick and tired of politicians like Marco Rubio, Maria Salazar, and Carlos Jimenez claiming to act in my name while they push mass starvation on the Cuban people. We want a relationship based on respect and mutual prosperity between the two places we call home, said Danny Valdez, founder of Cuban Americans for Cuba. So as I close, I thank each and every one of you for coming here to speak the truth to power we all know. Pass AB 1900. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Melina Code Pink. And now, from Workers Strike Back, running for Congress against warmongering Adam Smith, sisters and brothers, Kshama Sawant in the house.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers and siblings. Solidarity with the working people in Cuba, Venezuela, the Palestinian lands, Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon. Thank you to the organizers of today's rally. We know what we will end up actually winning will come down to the strength of our movement, of the balance of forces between us versus them, and don't believe anyone who peddles the lies that there is no us versus them. There absolutely is. Capitalism is a zero-sum game. These health insurance profits come from denying working and poor people care. It is a life and death zero-sum game, and those people who are making money off us don't care about us at all. Winning healthcare will require militant working class movements and a fighting strategy. A fighting strategy means that we need to understand, and we have to be crystal clear about this. We need to understand who is actually on our side and who is not. Obviously, the billionaires and the multimillionaires are not on our side. And that's not just the health insurance executives. It's all the billionaires and multimillionaires who make profit from denying us healthcare, profit from warmongering and bloodshed, profit from exploiting working class people. Trump and the Republicans are also obviously not on our side. But the Democratic Party is not on our side also. Trump's cuts to Medicaid and Medicare have been horrendous, but they weren't the first horrendous cuts. The first person and the first party to cut Medicaid and Medicare were Democratic President Bill Clinton and the Democratic Party when they cut a whopping $150 billion in 1997 with Bill Clinton Biden's so-called Balanced Budget Act, which was also the bill that opened the door to privatizing Medicare. And we just heard a speaker earlier who was talking about how Medicare Advantage is really Medicare disadvantage. Democrats had the White House and both houses of Congress under Bill Clinton. They again had the White House and both houses of Congress under Obama. Then again they had both houses of Congress and the White House under Joe Biden. And what did we get? They refused to pass even a $15 minimum wage. The national minimum wage is at a disgraceful $7.25, and the minimum wage for tipped workers is $2.13. They not only refused to pass universal health care, they also shut the door on a strong public option, and they even refused to make ACA tax credits permanent, which then made us even more vulnerable to Trump's attacks. The Democrats, in a majority, just this last December, voted for the National Defense Authorization Act of approving $900 billion with a B, billion dollars for Trump's wars. All $900 billion are what Trump is using today for his war against Iran. Every drop of blood that is being shed of ordinary people, civilians in Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon through this war is at the doorstep of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is also the party that presided over the genocide in Gaza. The genocide started under Joe Biden. The Democratic Party is not, as we are often told, the lesser evil. Instead, the Democratic Party, along with the Republican Party, is those two together are two of the most powerful parties of global capitalism. We have to understand that the Democratic Party is a party of capitalism and imperialism. In addition to that, and a harder and less visible thing to understand is the role of the progressive Democrats. Progressive Democrats, progressive in quotes, progressive Democrats are not in the Democratic Party to do progressive things or push the Democratic Party to the left or to try and win something for workers. They haven't won us anything. No, the purpose of the progressives in the Democratic Party is to give cover to the capitalist anti-worker agenda of the Democratic Party. And most importantly, by doing that, to keep tens of millions of working people shackled in the two-party system into perpetuity, into making us believe that if we just elect one more Democrat, a few more Democrats, let's get a majority in the House, the Senate, let's just do this once again, and then somehow, someday, at some point, somewhere, something good will happen for working people. The role of AOC and progressive Democrats, like in my home state, Washington, Pramila Jayapal, their job is to try and whitewash the crimes of the Democratic Party, the party of billionaires, the party of war and genocide, the party of deportations. These progressive Democrats have brought Medicare for all bills forward 13 times. They have brought them 13 times, but not once have they built any momentum around it or even brought it to a vote. Not even once. They've done worse than that. This year, Pramila Jayapal, she, as usual, she has brought the Medicare for all bill forward, which she has zero intention of fighting for it, and she is not fighting for it. But she did something worse than that. She had someone like Adam Smith, my opponent, sign on as a co-sponsor. Allowing Adam Smith to sign on as a co-sponsor is nakedly a ploy to, launder Adam Smith's track record. Adam Smith has spent 29 years as a general for the billionaires. He is not about to turn into a working class fighter. The only reason he wanted to formally sponsor this bill this year is because he is very afraid of our campaign, our independent revolutionary socialist campaign, and is rushing to try and clean up his record. He would never have signed on to the bill if it had a ghost of a chance of passing. So what is Jayapal doing? She is actively helping his attempt to whitewash his 29-year pro-billionaire record. This year, Pramila Jayapal has done yet another horrible thing. She introduced a bill that's called the Justice for Hind Rajat Act. People know Hind Rajat. The 5-year-old Palestinian girl whose body was found riddled with Israeli bullets. And those bullets and the Israeli tank that released those bullets, all that weaponry was bought by US dollars. And those US dollars were approved by a number of Democratic Congress members, including Adam Smith, but it also includes a co-sponsor with Pramila Jayapal of the Justice for Hind Rajat Act, Sarah Jacobs of California. Sarah Jacobs was one of the many Democrats, along with Adam Smith, who voted in April 2024 to send nearly $27 billion for the genocide in Gaza. Every bullet that lies in Hind Rajat's body is because of Sarah Jacobs. How are these progressives? How can we call them progressives when they are allowing genocidal Democrats to sign on to bills that are anti-genocide? This is a classic role of a gatekeeper, and a fighting strategy means understanding that gatekeepers are not on the side of the working class. And yes, it will probably make you not so popular to say progressive Democrats are not on your side. But if we are to win anything, that is precisely what we need to do. It is our political and moral obligation to speak the truth. I don't want to be called the gatekeepers, because on the surface, they appear like they should be on our side. They say they support progressive things, they bring progressive bills, but in reality, their role is to put the brakes on any fight back by working people. Their peaceful careers and six-figure salaries depend on keeping good relations with the establishment, and they are part of the establishment. They are careerists in the establishment. Being clear about the role of gatekeepers is a make or break for movements. Winning anything for the working class, let alone something big like childcare, will require us to defeat the gatekeepers. And when movement leaders are not clear about this, movements reach a dead end. This is why a fighting strategy also means an independent movement, a movement independent of the Democrats and the progressive Democrats and the Republicans. A movement that has a leadership that understands that we need to defeat gatekeepers if we are to defeat the billionaires. And obviously in the state of California, the Democratic Party has been even more blatant in sabotaging the effort for single payer, not once, but twice in 2017 and 2022. Both times, the nurses union leadership introduced the bill jointly with state Democrats. Both times, the Democratic Party had the governor's mansion and a supermajority or near supermajority in both houses of the state legislature. And both times, a leading Democrat blocked the CalCare bill and refused to bring it to a vote. In 2017, it was Democratic State Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon, and in 2022, it was Assembly Member Ash Kalra, the very sponsor of the bill, who pulled the plug. Gavin Newsom, the California's Democratic governor, also played an equally rotten role. The lessons from the 10 years of my revolutionary socialist city council office in Seattle are crucial for us to take on board. We won unheard of victories like the nation's highest minimum wage. The minimum wage in Seattle is today $21.30. And because of our victory in Seattle, tens of millions of American workers have won wage increases that have been a crucial lifeline as they get pummeled by cost of living increases. We defeated Jeff Bezos and his fellow billionaires to win the Amazon tax. We won unprecedented renters' rights victories like a $10 cap on late rent fee. We refused to allow corporate landlords to win a single thing. But each one of these victories was viciously opposed by all the Democrats on the council, and they were all Democrats. I was one socialist. There were no Republicans, including by the self-described progressives. But we won the victories because we used my office to build independent movements, and we went to war against the Democratic Party rather than me trying to collaborate with them. The CNA leadership's fight for childcare, while extremely well-intentioned, had resulted in defeats due to the Democratic Party's betrayals, and because of the leadership of the Nurses Union and other unions failing to take the most crucial step that is necessary for victory, breaking from the Democratic Party and waging an independent offensive campaign against the rich and both their parties. And building an offensive campaign means having a strategy that brings an actual credible threat to the doorstep of the Democrats here in the state capital. We won the Amazon tax because alongside our bill in City Hall, we also put forward a ballot initiative petition, and we collected 30,000 signatures from ordinary working people on our ballot initiative petition and made it a credible threat. It was very clear to big business and the Democrats that if they didn't vote yes on our bill, we were going to go straight to the voters and going to win big. That is the kind of credible threat we need to pose to the Democratic Party. But I am sorry to say, now the leadership of the Nurses Union is repeating the same failed strategy. They did not endorse this rally. Why isn't the Nurses Union leadership here? Why aren't the thousands upon thousands of rank and file nurses mobilized to this rally? Why aren't the thousands upon thousands of union members mobilized by their leadership of all other unions? And not only that, the Nurses Union leadership has now endorsed billionaire Tom Steyer of California. Government, I'm sorry, this is a completely dead end strategy. This is not going to work. And it's also not going to work for union leaderships to use the strategy like the United Nurses Association of California leadership used, where their workers, 31,000 nurses and other medical care workers at Kaiser Permanente, were out on a courageous strike, and the union leadership pulled the plug on that strike without a contract, without any victories. This is absolutely a dead-end strategy of business unionism, and we need a reckoning. If we are to win healthcare, if we are to win universal healthcare, we will need a reckoning in the labor movement. We need a rebuilding of the militant rank and file leadership that pushed for the general strike in the 1930s, which was the reason working class in America won the New Deal. It wasn't FDR. It was the threat of revolution on the basis of the general strikes that won the New Deal. One other thing about universal healthcare, what Workers Strike Back and our congressional campaign is calling for is free healthcare for all, funded by taxing the rich. I believe that is the way to go. Do not let health insurance lobbyists and the Democrats and Republicans weaponize the question of how much working people will get taxed in order to fund healthcare. Why should we be taxed? We are already taxed to the hilt. The billionaires and the multi-millionaires have made over $5 trillion in the last 10 years. They should be paying for universal healthcare. We need to demand free healthcare by taxing the fucking rich. And last but not least, all of these efforts have to be geared explicitly towards working people fighting to build a new party for the working class. Because without an actual threat of a new party, we are not going to be able to extract concessions from the Democrats and Republicans. As long as they know that at the end of the day, you have no one else to vote for, you have no one else fighting for you, for working people, they are going to win the day. And so, combined with our offensive campaigns for healthcare and for other concrete demands, we have to start building a new party for the working class. That is also why we are running our revolutionary socialist campaign for the US Congress. We are calling for free healthcare for all, funded by taxing the rich, for national rent control, for a massive expansion of social housing nationally, publicly owned, affordable housing. We're also calling for an end to the genocide in Gaza, a permanent end to all U.S. military aid to the Israeli state. No war on Iran, and not $1 more for imperialist war. Shut down ICE, stop the deportation, and shut down the detention centers. And I have also made a pledge that if I'm elected, and it's going to be uphill, we'll need your support. But this is a national campaign, no matter where you live. This is your campaign because we need a breakthrough victory. And electing the first ever revolutionary socialist to the US Congress, believe me, it will be a political earthquake. I am pledged that if I'm elected, I will turn my congressional inauguration in Washington, D.C. into a mass rally of 10,000 people and immediately use my office to launch movements to end all U.S. military aid to Israel and for free healthcare for all. And I'll just end by this. This idea of us winning this position in this election to U.S. Congress, it is the stuff of nightmares for the billionaires and the multimillionaires and the Democratic and Republican parties. So my appeal to you all, let's make their nightmare come true.
Sisters and brothers, shout along, check it out. And now, sisters and brothers, running as the Green Party candidate for California Governor, Dr. Butch Ware in the house.
I might be a little too tall to come down to this mic stand. Revolutionary greetings of peace and power, all power to the people. And we start here in the home state of the Panthers with an all power to the people. Because as our revolutionary sister Kshama Sawant reminded us, it is going to take political power. These people are not going to be moved by protests. These people are going to be beaten in contests. We need to fight them for political power. And that's why I'm running for governor in the state of California. And I want to start this brief address in the place where our sister soldier left it. She talked about the Democrats that are sheepdog back onto the Democrat plantation by progressives that say, just vote for another Democrat, another progressive. Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves and I'd freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves. It is time to lead an exodus off that Democrat plantation because I promise you, ain't nobody getting free with Team Blue in charge. They're going to run a bunch of bullshit up that flagpole, telling you that they are going to support single-payer health care. We've heard Katie Porter now saying it, despite the fact that just a few months ago, she said it was a non-starter. We hear the billionaire Tom Steyer saying that he's going to support single-payer healthcare. And if you believe that, I got a bridge in San Francisco I'd like to sell you. James Baldwin said, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. And we are done being gaslit by the Democrats. I just spoke of James Baldwin and Harriet Tubman. And much of my address with this brief time that we have this afternoon is going to be rooted in the Black liberation tradition. It's going to be rooted in the Black revolutionary tradition, because that's the tradition that raised me, the tradition that I was steeped in. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X when I was 15 years old. Anybody here read that book? And everybody who don't have their hand up, I'm going into my university professor mode. I teach Black history at UCSB. Your homework assignment tonight is to read that book, because it's the most powerful narrative of spiritual redemption in the English language, and it recounts the birth of a Black revolutionary. And when I read that book, I read it cover to cover in one night. I couldn't put it down. It spoke to me in powerful ways, because Malcolm was honest about what white supremacy had done to him, what this place had not only done to him, but what it had turned him into. And I could relate, because I'm the son of a locksmith that had a 6th grade education. I never expected to be a PhD, much less running for governor. My father hustled to make ends meet, and he stayed strapped at all times. And my mom was 15 years old, pregnant with me, told by her high school guidance counselor to abort the child because she was pregnant by a Black man. That was 1973 in Washington, D.C. And yes, I said 73. I'm 52 years old. And even light-skinned Black don't crack when you moisturize. But in all, she asked, what do we use for moisture? Content, shea butter. Shea butter, cocoa butter, you gotta go for your Black classics. But in all seriousness, I want to root this in the Black liberation tradition, because it's important that we draw on the lessons of our collective struggle to light the way forward to our collective liberation in this moment. So it was Malcolm's autobiography, and I wanted what Malcolm had. I needed it. I lived in abject poverty throughout my youth. So I ran out to my public school library. I checked out an English translation of the Quran, because if it was good enough for Malcolm, it was good enough for me. And I read that book cover to cover the next night. I converted to Islam before the week was out. That was my entry into my personal faith tradition. And the reason why I'm dressed so fly today, notice the shoes, even are matching, is because today is the day of Eid. Today is the day when Muslims are celebrating breaking our fast, the end of the month of Ramadan, and solidarity with all of our brothers and sisters around the world who are under the yoke of American imperialist oppression. So I spoke in a Friday sermon about Palestine and Iran and Sudan and what this empire has done. And there is a direct relationship between the imperialist violence that America perpetrates abroad and the systemic violence that is the denial of our health care. I said it best. They got money for war, but no money for the poor. So I will speak from that Black liberation tradition, but first I will center us in our sacred traditions, our sacred and secular traditions of faith and philosophy, with a simple reminder that's repeated in the Quran and in all of the holy books. Taking care of the sick is a moral responsibility. It is a moral responsibility. A society that refuses to take care of the sick is a sick society. And yes, we have to talk about policy. And yes, we have to talk about how to fund it. But understand that this is a basic question about your morality as a human being. Do you think that people should die because they're poor? Do you think that they should be denied treatment because they can't afford it? These are moral questions. And we must remind people that these are not just questions that are about policy, but they are questions about our basic humanity. And of course, capitalism rejects all of this, because capitalism's job is to dehumanize, it is to commoditize. Capitalism was born, if you read the great revolutionary Walter Rodney, it was born in the transatlantic slave trade, the so-called transatlantic slave trade. It was an African trade. It was a European trade in African slaves. They ran a slave trade in the Indian Ocean too. They were slaving everywhere. And that is the capital in capitalism. That's where the money came from. It came from the commoditization of Black bodies. Capitalism has always been on these foundational evils: dehumanizing, diminishing, impoverishing. Capitalism rejects our basic moral responsibility to take care of the sick. Another great Black revolutionary, W.E.B. Du Bois, said, a system of universal selfishness cannot bring social good to all. And it was anti-capitalist, it was socialists like Du Bois and like the Panthers who taught us how to do this. The Panthers operated free medical clinics in 19 US cities in the 1960s and 70s, and they did it without the tens of billions of dollars that the guys behind us squander. Can we deliver on universal single-payer health care? Absolutely. It's an easy thing to afford if your priorities are not servicing the capitalist imperialist class. And that includes both of these parties. Kshama laid the track. I'm about to run down that track right now. Malcolm, who I told you is my hero and my role model. Malcolm said the liberal's a fox. It bares its teeth. You think it's smiling at you, but you are on the menu. The conservative is a wolf. When it bares its teeth, it's into a vicious snarl that leaves the black man with no illusion as to where he stands. Malcolm believed in the 1960s that the black community was caught between two predators that differ only in the way that they hunt. One hunts by cunning and by guile, pretending to be your friend so you can get close. The other by sheer force. Well, that's Team Blue genocide and that's Team Red fascism. It's time to go green. Another great African revolutionary, and there I'm going to politely disagree with my revolutionary sister, Kshama. We have a revolutionary party here in the state of California, and it's the Green Party. Another great revolutionary, Julius Nyerere, said, of course, the United States is a single party state, but with classic American extravagance, they have two of them. Do not be fooled into thinking that those are two separate parties. That is a factional fight between two different factions inside the American ruling class. It ain't about the so-called left or the so-called right. It's about the top versus the bottom, and both of those parties are on the right. Because you can't even see Ronald Reagan from where the Democrat Party is now. They are so far to the right of Reagan that you can't even see him from here. So what has this left us with? It's left us with 2/3 of bankruptcies in this country being caused by medical bills. It's left with people being forced to make the choice between whether they're going to pay for their medicine or whether they're going to pay for their food. And I know those choices because I grew up in abject poverty, having to make those decisions. As a decision maker, I'm not going to be thinking about how to protect corporate profits, but how to help the most marginalized in our society, because it is the moral responsibility of elected leadership to do that. And my mentor in the Green Party, the late, great Annie Young, indigenous woman, served from 1989 to 2018 in Minneapolis, longest serving Green Party elected official. She said, in the Green Party, we don't have politicians, we have public servants. Yeah. So can we deliver on universal single-payer health care with a green governor? You're goddamn right, and I'll say that on How do I know? Because the people want it, and because we've actually already won this fight, because they play in your faces. 2006, 2008, Democrats passed single-payer health care because there was a Republican governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they knew that he would veto it. Playing in y'all's faces, pissing on your heads and calling it rain, because then they had the state house super majorities for the next couple of decades, and somehow they just couldn't get single-payer healthcare passed. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. You are going to have to vote for someone other than Team Blue genocide if you think you are going to either get or keep universal single-payer health care. And how we pay for it, yeah, we are going to tax the shit out of billionaires. That's not a problem. We're gonna tax the shit out of Blackstone and BlackRock and all of the vacant properties, and I'm gonna make them sell them back to the state for pennies on the dollar so that we can have social housing. Because we're not just getting universal health care, we're also getting social housing. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm going to do all those taxes. We're going to hit them with the income tax because 186 billionaires in the state of California and 187,000 homeless people sleep on the streets every night. A 2% increase on the income tax alone on those billionaires means that nobody that makes 100K or less would pay a penny in state taxes. And then we didn't even get to the wealth tax yet on the millionaires. But we don't even need that to pay for universal single payer in this state because the taxpayers already pay 70 cents on every healthcare dollar that is spent in the state. And 30 cents on every healthcare dollar goes to the healthcare companies whose job it is to deny you care. Hashtag free Luigi. Now, I ain't no mathematician. I'm just a history professor. But 70 plus 30 is 100 the last time I checked. If you just take that middleman that's taking the cream cut off of the top, then you can pay the bills and keep the lights on. It's not complicated. They know that they could fix it, and they know that the people want it, and they don't care because the donors for the Democrats, that's who they respond to. Who funds you, runs you. Who funds you, runs you. Well, we're funded only by the people. I'm going to bring this discourse slowly to a close by talking not about what's behind us, but about what's in front of us. Malcolm famously said, "We are not outnumbered. We are only out-organized." Say it back. Okay. 5 checks failed. So let me just hold on. So first of all, I was raised in an African-American rhetorical tradition that's built on call and response. I know I don't have a lot of skin folk in the crowd today, but we need to do better than that. So I need you to say it with your chest. You know what that means? Okay. We are not outnumbered. We are only out-organized. And how do we fix that? Organize. This is a problem that can be solved. Malcolm said, never let your enemy tell you how many of you there are. Never let the man that you are against form your opinions for you. See, we can win in this political fight. We can get universal single payer health care. We can get social housing. We can get divestment from genocide. We can get a governor that is not going to lay down for the feds, because I have said as governor of the state of California, I am not going to comply with any unconstitutional orders, which means that the feds are going to have to go through every lawyer and law enforcement officer in the state before they so much as touch a hair on the head of any California resident. We're not going to talk about ICE out. We're going to get ICE out. We can have this now, and they know it. Right now, not too far away from here, I had to file a lawsuit yesterday because the Democrats are trying to knock me off the ballot already. It's okay. We've seen it coming. We have lawyers, and they know that they're going to lose this case. They're just trying to do it because they don't want me to be in the voter's guide, and they didn't know how I had lawyers in reserve ready to checkmate their simple asses. So we're ready for it. But why? Why are they trying to knock me off the ballot? They're trying to knock me off the ballot because I'm 8 points off the lead in their polls right now. For context, on March 20th, before Mamdani's primary, he was polling at about 3% and 30 points off the leaders. We're polling 8 points off the lead. And we don't have to get to 50% the way that Mamdani did. This is a jungle primary. The winner is probably going to get 21% of the vote. Second place, 17%. 1.5 million votes on June 2nd of 2026. And we create a one-on-one matchup between me and whichever sorry corporate Democrat is trying to be the new Gavin Newsom. I'm betting it's Eric Swalwell for Israel. For those of you that didn't hear my diss track, it was the first ever political ad in the form of a diss track. You know what? I have a mic. I want to hear it. Body all on a verse. Handle light words first. Eric Swalwell, all hail. Back up the hearse. Eric Swalwell for Israel and K for the cops. He wrote a thank you note to Ice. Kid, I kid you not. He dropped draws for APAC. Me, I rep Tupac. And the Panthers like a Fenny, good and plenty. Catching many. Katie Porter up next. Heard she beat up her ex. And she screaming her staff. Power storm off the set. They want you drowning in debt. I'll get free healthcare in college. Lay it down as a bet. Professor Ware dropping knowledge. I'm looking at the time and realizing I need to bring this to a close. With my last word, I'm just going to remind you that there's a reason that they're scared. They cannot survive a one-on-one matchup between me and them between June and November, because they will not have any lesser of two evils arguments that they can resort to. They can't say you're going to turn the state red when it ain't no red on the ballot. And it's just blue versus green. And even if you don't think that that crazy black Muslim revolutionary dude can actually win, and believe me, I can, and they know it. That's why they're suing to get me off the ballot. But even if you don't believe it, and you're one of those normie libs that might be in the crowd right now, or progressive Democrat, which would you rather have? Them chasing the Republicans to the right, or them having to deal with my black ass? So I'm going to end with this. The great Kwame Ture, I told you this was all going to be framed by the Black liberation tradition. Kwame Ture, formerly Stokely Carmichael, organizer with SNCC, then later developed All African People's Revolutionary Party. He taught this core maxim that I want you guys to reflect on. Revolutionaries don't just mobilize around issues. Revolutionaries organize against systems.
Yes.
Do I need to say that again?
Yes.
Revolutionaries don't just mobilize around issues. Revolutionaries organize against systems. Mobilizing for universal health care is fantastic. Mobilizing to end police violence is fantastic. Mobilizing for Palestinian liberation or ICE abolition is great, but it will not produce the outcome. We have to organize against the system that undergirds all of those forms of oppression. The systemic violence that denies us care, the systemic violence that put 355 rounds into a 5-year-old child. That is violence, and we have to fight back. Not with guns necessarily. Look, it's getting dark out there. Who knows if it's going to be a real revolution on? But my hero and role model, Malcolm X, in his 1964 speech said, the ballot is a weapon of war as effective or more effective than the bullet. He said, we're going to knock on every door in Harlem and register every black face, not as a Democrat, not as a Republican. We're going to say, show us your card. And whoever didn't register, we might just move them out of town. It's going to be the ballot of the bullet. Because revolutionaries organize against systems by any means necessary. And those include electoral means. Ballots go out on May 4th.
Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you. Because we are about to lead a full-on rebel insurrection against the empire. And I'm out.
Sisters and brothers, sisters and brothers, please welcome for our final message, Gina Viola and Erica Ferriston. Gina Viola and Erica Ferriston.
We're going to make it short. Well, we have heard a lot of great shit today, a lot of important stuff. And what it really boils down to is every one of you here, you podcasting all day, Green Party, volunteers, Kshama, Sawant, every single booth, what it boils down to is you care. You care in a society that doesn't want us to care.
that doesn't want us to care about committing genocide, that doesn't want us to care about 5-year-olds being put in detention centers, that doesn't want us to care about criminalizing people because they have black skin, that doesn't want us to care about our unhoused neighbors who are being treated like trash. But we are here because we care. And this bill is because we care. This will get us the care we need. So thank you for suiting up and showing up. And before I pass the mic to Gina to close us out, I'm just going to say, please support Butch, Ware, and Kshama Sawant's campaigns. I wasn't told to say that. I'm just saying it because this is a revolution that is going to take changing the whole system. Well said, she stole my words. I was going to say the demand is no more Democrats. Definition of insanity. How do we keep electing the same people and expecting different results? You heard people fighting today, fighting everything, the establishment, probably their own families, to run campaigns outside the duopoly. It's time for us to show up and support those campaigns. I want to see Butch Ware as my governor. I want to see Kshama Sawant on that floor of the Congress House forcing a vote on Medicare for all, because I bet she's going to do that. And we want to see Cal Canada. Maybe 1900, right? Who didn't you see out here today? We took this fight to their doorstep. Did you see one Democratic legislator out here today to say, oh yeah, with you guys? I'm a co-signer on the bill, I support it. In fact, on the Lynch Clemens demands we delivered, what we were met with was hostility. They don't want this bill. Newsom has told them, don't pay any attention to this bill. So people were hostile just when we were trying to deliver the summons to them. The writing is on the wall. If we don't start electing new people, we are never going to get what we need. So the demand is AB 1900 CalCare. And when they don't deliver it again, it's time to kick this fight up to a whole new level and elect us a governor who will give it to us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Please, let's leave no trace right behind. We pack away everything that we brought. And any questions, come see us in the CUSP booth. And I think Mark has something to say.
We have Smiley T from Smiley T and the Tall Trees. He's going to play us out. He's got a few more songs for us. Please visit our amazing booth, help us clean up, and thank you all so very much for being here. People power.
One more time, let's make sure that y'all sign the petition. So bit.ly pass AB 1900. And also let's make sure that we are holding these mod Dems accountable, right? We know that Martin Luther King said it best, that the white moderate is the biggest stumbling block. It was then and it's now, y'all.
Thank you for being out here. It's a lot. Yeah.
It's no power.
Check. Hey, thank you all so much for coming out. Let's give a big round of applause to all the speakers and all the event organizers. Can we do that real quick? Yeah. Also in line with the Black Revolutionary tradition that Dr. Ware so eloquently brought here, I just want to quote one of my heroes, Frederick Douglass, when he said, "Power can seize nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found the exact measure of wrong and injustice that will be imposed upon them. And this will continue until it is resisted either with words or with blows or with hope. But the power of tyrants is prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress." We got a couple more songs, and I hope y'all enjoy.
Reach out to us, help care for us. We have more intel.
Doesn't matter whether you fit in, where you win, or where you begin. It's about that strength, the love they lay. These crazy motherfuckers that we gon' friends. So, easy, you will raise my glass. To those here with it, those that pass. We all know life goes too fast, so come on, y'all. Hurry up and line up there. Oh, we're gonna have fun tonight. Hope everybody out there's feeling alright. So, lean to the left, right to the right wheel. Gonna dance with the dawn first light. So, cheers to light. And love you. Father T gonna set your mind free. All the naked thoughts just like a honeybee. We're breaking bonds like pots and playing trees. So leave out your worry. Forget your stress. Come on inside and take a deep breath. We're having a good time. This friend is the best. Just chill and breathe deep in your chest. How you feeling, y'all? You feeling lifted? Either healing for me to you gifted. Spirit elevated, mind that shifted. Hands on top, shifted. Hands on my grip in the mic. So I can speak to you, I'll speak it true. It's what you need to do. Just move, feel yourself and start giving groove. Feel yourself and start living. Draw evolution, draw out the beats. Just breathe in this music, let your whole beats. Get out of your head and stop. Let the ground breathe like it's like your heartbeat. Girl, doesn't matter where you fit in. When your hands are where you begin. It's about the strength, the love they land. These crazy motherfuckers that we don't friends. So, easy, you will reach my glass. To those here and those past. We all know life goes too fast. So, come on, y'all. Here we go up and laugh. Let's say, whoa. Okay. All right. Doesn't matter whether you fit in, when you win, or when you begin. It's about that strength, the love they land. These great motherfuckers that we call friends. So, tears for you will raise my glass. To those here and those that pass. We all know life goes too fast, so come on, y'all. Hurry up and let's say, whoa. Yeah, I had a lot of fun today. Want to thank everyone for coming out, taking the time. It can be lonely struggles sometimes. I'm glad that we were able to spend some time here with one another. So we got one more song coming up, and then I think we'll probably call it there. Yeah, this next one's called Fall Forward. And couldn't get my interview today, but they got their voices on screen. I smile, but the fly fits in. From a caterpillar on a mushroom sitting, sipping his tea, staring at me. Metamorphosizing in that thing I see, a thing of beauty. No matter where you can, come on, beautiful people, put your hands together and breathe in. And say love, we're in it together. Let's show them what we're made of. To get anywhere, you gotta take the first step, take the second, third, and then never forget to keep it moving. Yes, and never lose inside of the objective, because we always keep on choosing to get back just every time we fall. And in these tumbling, man, just give me a call together in the direction we need to go. My baby, that much closer when we get us so. You're gonna fall forward, get up, try again. We are both fall forward, that's nice about my friend. If you're gonna fall forward, get up and try again. We are both fall forward, that's nice about my friend. Yeah. So happy y'all came out today. The struggle is real, the struggle is hard, and sometimes we're going to trip and fall. Sometimes you might fall around on your face, but the important thing is that you pick yourself back up every time. Because when you're moving towards the goal, when you fall, it's going to be that much closer. And make sure you clean up all your trash that you have out here. You know, we got to respect the folks that can take this place. And, make sure you guys get home safe, okay? You rise on the prize, focus on the goal, focus the control, gotta put from deep in your soul, and hold it. Feels the time, the goal to find. We told this time, stop in my focus, just trying to get back up. I said, I'm just trying to get back up. I said, we're just trying to get back up. Come on. Just trying to get back up from every time that you're feeling low down and out. Down, thinking in your thoughts, don't know what it's about. You want to shout, but your voice is young, the voice is strong. Remember the song, y'all. Get up and go on. It's not the first time. Damn sure won't be the last. It's fast. Get up and keep going your path. It's really the only thing to do. Just keep smiling. I promise we can see this through. Fall forward. Get up, try again. We all must fall forward. That's the last of my friend. You gotta fall forward. Get up, try again. We all must fall forward. That's the last of my friend. Yeah, mommy, let's birthday day. Happy talk days. It's been a pleasure performing for y'all with y'all. And I gotta say, I've been grateful for these opportunities all day. It makes me think about the importance of planting the seed, planting the trees, so future generations can set the shade. Have a great rest of your evening.